You're watching the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent and Austen Show.
Well, there's a look at Camping World Stadium. That was the home of the Pro Bowl for many years, or several years at least. And who gives a damn about the Pro Bowl is what everybody's trying to tell us now, as this year it will be out in California. So we wouldn't be going anyway, and apparently neither is Trevor Lawrence, because Shedeur Sanders has made the Pro Bowl with 7 touchdowns and 10 interceptions this year. Hey, everybody, and welcome in on a Tuesday. Speaking of Camping World and Orlando, we're going to have a lot of Orlando conversation. We figured, what the heck, not that we have an Orlando-based show, but today we kind of do. Austen is in fight camp. As that started up, he's down in Orlando. I'm actually down in Orlando as well. And Kasey, I think, is making his way down to Orlando at some point this week. So, and even Hamby, he's always in Orlando for a wedding, like every single weekend. So we have some Orlando ties, as much as everybody in Jacksonville seems to hate talking about Orlando. We might do it a little bit today. Welcome to the Brent and Austen Show. And we will get to the Pro Bowl. But real quick, I wanted to do this, Austen.
Yeah.
You're going to fight camp here. You got to fight March 21st in the UK, in London, which is really cool. And obviously a new weight class. If for people jumping in the show or new listeners and don't know too much about it, or that you fight in the UFC and have been fighting MMA for a while, what happens in fight camp? Because you'll be in and out of the show. You're only staying with us for about a half hour today. And it will change kind of day to day. But why Orlando this time? Because you've been to Vegas and Miami. And what happens in a fight camp?
Yeah, so basically, first of all, with the fight camp, to answer that one question, a fight camp is basically, it's almost like training camp for football, right? Where you're essentially getting ready for a season, but in my case, I'm getting ready for a fight. So, we started about 10 weeks out. We're about 8 weeks out right now. And it's basically, it's practice, which I do every single day, but it's amplified. It's ramped up, and now more of the focus is on me, right? So whether it's technique, whether it's sparring, whether it's drills, whatever the case may be, like all the focus is on me, and it's just ramped up. So it's your body goes through it, obviously in terms of physicality purposes, your body gets banged up, gets sore as it's supposed to, and mentally it can be a pretty grueling time. So I'm going to be splitting my time for this fight camp between Jacksonville and Orlando, and simply because being a father, it's hard to be away for 7 to 8 weeks if I'm training in Vegas or if I'm training in South Florida. So this way it gives me the opportunity, when I have my son Thursday through Sunday, I can still be able to hang out with him, see him and everything. And at the end of the day, they say fighting, it's all mental, and I truly believe that. So just kind of having him around every single week and kind of having that same routine in my life is going to be huge.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so what's the difference between Miami, Vegas, and Orlando in terms of, I would think Vegas and Miami are a bit more of a hot spot. So you raved about the competition there, the grind, the world-class UFC fighters that were also in those camps. Can you still get some of that here in Orlando?
No, without a doubt. I'm expecting to see one of my former opponents, Robelis Spinay, the guy that I fought to get my new contract. He trains in Orlando a little bit. There's about 3 or 4 heavyweights that are either in the UFC or on their way to the UFC that train at this gym, which is crazy to say because now I'm like a light heavyweight. So that's going to be a new experience, as well as in the past I've fought, anywhere from 245 to 255 pounds. And now on weigh-in day, I'll be required to weigh in at 206 pounds. So obviously body's going to go through a little bit of a change there, but we've done a lot of in terms of testing. I've been to the UFC PI in Las Vegas to make sure I can do it. I have a nutritionist, and so far so good. I'm actually really ahead of schedule right now in terms of where my weight is.
Yeah, there's a lot of sports science involved with it. All right, you just brought up something interesting, and Daniel does say call him Nostradaniel for asking Austen about dropping the 205, and we'll get into that in just a moment. But so there's a guy that you beat that will be in this fight camp, and that got you your UFC contract. Do you talk to anybody else that you've fought? Like, have you ever talked to anybody, whether it's via text or a phone conversation, or run into them at all? Like, have you?
Oh, yeah.
Done that?
Yeah, so if you remember the first fight that I had in Jacksonville with the eye poke, the
Oh yeah.
Tafa brothers, like I've seen them a couple times. Whether it was where I saw them in Vegas one time, and then I've also seen them in Australia when I was cornering one of my friends, or whatever, who asked me to be in his corner. So I see those guys, and they're nothing but friendly, man. It's crazy because like when you're in the heat of the moment, obviously emotions run high and everything, and people talk, but then like, and I've said this before, um I always feel like regardless of how much ill will you have towards somebody, like when the fight's over or when you kind of leave the arena, you kind of have a newfound respect for that person. So I've talked to the Toffas a bunch. I'm trying to think of anybody else. That's about it in terms of like my other opponents, but they don't really speak English, so like we're not gonna have like a lot of dialogue between some other opponents, because
Yeah.
one guy was from Portugal, I think, and another guy was from Brazil, and they don't really speak English, so not a lot of dialogue there.
The Taffa brothers is fascinating that you saw them again down there in
Mhm.
Australia because of that whole situation, from the eye poke to obviously then
Yeah.
fighting down in Australia. But I guess I kind of liken that and the way you describe it most of the time, like the end of a football game.
Hmm.
I mean, you got
Hmm.
go head to head and you have some great matchups, and it can be LaQuinn Allen trying to take out Max Crosby the entire game and then shake hands after the game.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And it's funny too, because like I was the worst person in football, because like I never shook hands with anybody if I lost. And granted, when I played for the Jags, there was a lot of losing, unfortunately. But there I don't know, for some reason, like, and I get it's more of a team game, right? So it's not just, it doesn't fall directly on you, it falls on the entire team. But there was something to be said. Like, I hated watching my opponents celebrate. I hated, like, the crowd for an away game cheering and everything. Like, that just kind of made me feel different. And maybe it's just I'm more mature now and everything, where I can, I mean, I don't like losing regardless of what it is. But yeah, maybe that's just a little maturity coming through now, where, I still have respect even after a fight, regardless what happens.
Yeah, I don't have I don't mind sore losing. I mean, I guess there is
Mm.
a classy way to do it, but I think there's something to be said about sore losing too. I really respect the people that can do it with a lot of class.
Yeah.
All right, last one is the 205. I mean, you have no idea what that's going to be like. I mean, you have to get down to 206. Like, how
Yeah, yeah.
challenging is that? Do you think it's going to be? You obviously think it's going to be better, or you wouldn't do it. And
Yep.
I've said this to you before, I think, and my novice UFC viewing experience usually revolves around mostly you, but
Hmm.
maybe at times you're giving up, shoot, 25 to 40 pounds by the time you get in the cage
Yeah.
with these guys. Uh, that's a lot. So
Hmm.
you won't have to deal with that. In fact, you have a good chance to be the heavier guy, right? By the time you get into the
With
fight.
Yeah, without a doubt. My opponent is 6 foot, and he's got about like a 73, 74 inch reach. I'm 6'6" and got about an 81-inch reach. So there's definitely going to be a size advantage there. And it's kind of funny how I got on this whole 205 journey. So, what a lot of people don't know is, before my last fight, when I was in camp, I had some knee injuries that I had to get taken care of. So after my fight, I had surgery and everything, and I was laid up for a few weeks. So I couldn't really do much, and I'm the type of person who has to be doing something, working towards something, getting my body moving, just because I feel a lot better when I do that. Well, I was kind of subjected to be on my couch and just take it easy for a couple weeks, which I did not like doing. So then I kind of got in my mind like, okay, like, well, I can't really move around like I want to. What do I want to work towards next? Like, what could be a goal that I can strive to while I'm recovering and making sure my knee is good to go? So I just kind of like started brainstorming. I started journaling, and I got like, huh, well, I can try to like clean up my diet a little bit and see what happens there. So I tried that, and then it got to the point. I've never shared this with you before. So I went on Chat GPT, which I never go on. And I just went to Chat GPT and I said, how feasible would it be for me to cut from 255 to 206 and make light heavyweight? And Chat GPT told me it's not possible. You don't, I forgot like what the exact verbiage was. I should have screenshotted it, but they basically said it's not possible. And you'd run the risks of, health things in the future. So like that kind of challenge from an artificial intelligent computer kind of fueled me a little more, where I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I'll show you then. So like that was only like the reinforcement that I needed to be like, all right, let's try this out, you know. So the first couple weeks when I was rehabbing, I cleaned up my diet a little bit. And it wasn't even really a calorie restriction, just stopped eating processed foods, and my body responded great to it. And yeah, I mean, yesterday after sparring, I was 224 pounds, which is way ahead of where I should be right now. So my nutritionist, I mean, and it's all about discipline, right? And I have no problem being disciplined. I think playing in the NFL and being a professional athlete, that's been instilled with me since I was a child, the terms of discipline. So I'm excited now to just kind of take this new journey of 205, and hopefully, you know, it's going to pay dividends in my fight career.
Well, if I keep trending in the direction I'm going to kick your ass and outweigh you at the very least.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
That is wow. That's a funny story. You should have asked Copilot.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Microsoft Copilot. Microsoft Copilot would probably been like, yeah, of course we can do it. Let's go. Here's how. Yeah.
That's terrific. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk more about the fight. We got obviously 6-7 weeks, and that's where Austen will be kind of in and out of the show during fight camp.
6-7, yep.
Over these, that's right, 6-7 weeks.
Got to do it, man.
It hit me anymore like that.
It's ingrained to me. I have a 10-year-old. That's what happens.
Over at me though. Funny, like we're at the softball game the other day. Didn't hit me, but like Kaylee's team scored 6 runs in the first inning, 7 runs in the second inning, and the girls after the game were like, "Hey, did you get a shot of that?" I was like,
amazing.
No, I wasn't.
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, let's go back. This is the first ever sports talk show that I start the show by interviewing the co-host, by the way. Like, it doesn't happen at anywhere else. Good. I don't think, at least, unless you were to get arrested, then I would have started that way too. But maybe Kasey got arrested. We can do another interview right here.
Now we're talking.
Kasey arrived in studio. Jason Hamby, he's not getting arrested. Casey's got a way better chance of getting arrested. Trespassing for verbal assault. Is that a crime? Can you get that? What could you be arrested for, by the way, in chasing the autograph scene?
I got kicked out. I got trespassed from an airport one time.
Just kicked out, though, not like a citation.
No, I can't go back.
You're on like the do not go list.
Yes, I asked the guy after the fact. I said, "What if I have to fly through here?" He said, "You don't."
Dang. Gonna have to circumnavigate that one. Have fun with that, Kasey.
It's been years. It's been a long time at this point.
That reminds me of some of the early days in the Jags travel, and I'm not going to say the name, but we went to go to the. I don't think we were traveling with the Jags. This one was just going to a commercial flight. And we went to check in, and the guy I was with, he had like all this trouble at the, at the check-in counter. And I mean, this is probably 2010 or something. And like, what the heck's going on? And apparently he was on a watch list. Not him. His name was on a watch list, like internationally. And it was just a common enough name that they were like really looking into it. It's like, I'd never heard that before. I wonder how many people run into that actually, where it's like somebody who's either wanted or something else and their name is similar. So they get tied up. Wouldn't even expect that. Would scare the hell out of me. I'm like, what the hell's going on? But we won't say what airport that is, Kasey.
Well, you guys don't know. I wasn't going to say, so you're right.
All right. Hey, fellas, Pro Bowl or not Pro Bowl? It's kind of like to take the field goal or not to take the field goal. It feels like these conversations lately. The Pro Bowl doesn't matter. Shedeur Sanders is going to the Pro Bowl, and Trevor Lawrence basically said, no, thanks, I got other plans. Sure. And we've seen a lot of quarterbacks do this and a lot of players do this. But, I mean, I can't think of a least important accolade anymore about than going to the Pro Bowl. How about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pointless at the just because in the past I think the Pro Bowl meant something for a couple of reasons. Number one, it was actually like a full-fledged game, right? So you got the effect of like, hey, I'm going to tune in and watch, another football game, if you will. And granted, it was never 100%, but like it was still entertaining to the point where it's like, hey, what happens when all these all-stars get together, all these best players get together and play the game of football? And I think that meant something. And now, obviously, it's a glorified flag football match and everything like that. But also it's just a popularity contest. I think back in the day, players took it seriously of who they wanted to nominate, what it meant, and even if your contract, it meant something where, hey, if you make a Pro Bowl, you get a bonus. I feel like those days are long gone now, and it should just be more about, whatever the fans or the media can, a percentage of that can vote for the Pro Bowl, or you announce it, but don't have a weekend, don't carry out a game. Like, no one's watching it, nobody cares. It doesn't correlate well to being entertaining on TV. Like, it's for nobody, right? So I say you just announce the Pro Bowlers and just let it go.
All right, well,
Casey, I think-
I know you guys hate the
awesome?
Pro Bowl. Yeah, and I'm going to fix his mic right now. So appreciate everybody.
I didn't know if it was just me.
No, definitely not just you.
We can hear you, though. We heard you.
There's a lot of things happening right now.
Yeah, it's all good. I know you guys hate the Pro Bowl like but we actually have news for you today. That both of you, as covering, as fighter, as player, both you goons, Brent and Austen, are going to the Pro Bowl.
Look at you guys.
Very good. Thank you very much, NFL.
Amazing.
Yes.
Years of service.
You'll be joining Shedeur Sanders this year.
Yeah, so it doesn't mean anything.
Brent Martineau will be covering the game.
Basically.
And I guess, Austen, you're going to be you got to unretire because you'll be also playing in the game.
Is that me or Tyson Alualu, though? But yeah, it looks great. 93, you know what I'm saying?
I think that's you.
I know.
Couldn't even ask ChatGPT to give me the right number.
Yeah. Hey, didn't think you could get to 206 either. So we're figuring out Austin's audio. I don't know what happened to Austin. His first 15 minutes were fine until now the audio's all goofy. But I love the fact that we made the Pro Bowl. Great work, guys. Casey, I will say this, man. Like the numbers do just fine because it's an NFL event. So people do watch whatever the NFL puts on. So they're not going to cancel the event. We've talked about this thing for a long time. But I do wonder, when Tyler Huntley got in, this Shedeur Sanders one.
Yep.
I mean, you really minimize it to the point, like, does it shake the integrity of the NFL a little bit when Sanders is going? And here's the other thing, man. You don't need 3 quarterbacks in the game. It's a skills competition. Go get another punter if you want that would have been deserving, or go get Cam Little, who would have been deserving, instead of going to get like the right amount of quarterbacks. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think the reason that Shedeur Sanders is there is because of what you said there at the end. It is a skills competition, and in whatever flag football or run really fast or throw it really far, like Shedeur Sanders would be good at that, just as Zach Wilson would be good at that. So like if you're gonna go that way and you want to like make it as like a who's the best athlete, do what Austen said, name your players Pro Bowlers, and then do this as a separate thing. Where it's like, yeah, these aren't the Pro Bowlers, but they can throw it real far and run real fast, and it'll be cool to watch, I guess. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it hurts the integrity, but I would never consider watching it. Like, there is no scenario that I would watch the Pro Bowl. And that's before the Shedeur Sanders thing. That doesn't, that's whatever. But, like, I would watch paint dry before I'd watch the Pro Bowl, just to be honest with you. Like, I'm not watching if it's the last thing on. Like, I will watch 2 unranked teams play lacrosse before I will watch the Pro Bowl. No shot at lacrosse, even though it sounded like one. But it's amazing that it's just, to me, it's just a non-factor of life. Like it doesn't even, if it didn't exist, it wouldn't change my, life at all.
I'd watch 2 raindrops race down to the end of my car window.
That's a good one.
Love that.
Wow, that's good. I've never heard that. That's good.
A good one.
Dude, as a kid, without, gadgets and all this stuff, that was prime entertainment.
So what you're saying right now is, as a child, you went and sat in the car while it was raining and watched raindrops run down the windshield?
That's exactly right. You'd have to pick one and see if yours won. I'm not the only one.
Your dad watches the show, right?
Initial betting.
So, Mr. Hamby, Did you ever worry about your son when he was like, "Oh, it's raining! Oh boy, I'm gonna go jump in the car and see how fast."
No,
I
I wouldn't go in the car just for that. But if we were
that's what I'm saying.
driving,
It sounds like you were running as soon as it started raining. Boom, outside to see the raindrops.
No, I wasn't doing that.
Okay.
I was just, if I was there, I would prefer that medium of entertainment instead of twiddling the old thumbs or listening to the goons he had on sports radio way back in the day that may or may not still be on sports radio.
Huh.
By the way, it's not often you get the 25-year-old that gives you a new saying. Usually these are like old sayings. I have never heard, like I've heard paint dry, right? Those kind of things. I've never heard, I'd rather watch 2 raindrops raced around my window.
I've never heard that either.
I have, well, I didn't, it's not a saying. I just said,
well, that's a Hamby original?
You just said it.
yeah, well, it's just what came to mind.
Okay, word.
I feel like I might make a t-shirt out of that. That's pretty good. It's a good visual. And by the way, like better than the Pro Bowl, you can actually make a wager on one of the raindrops.
So facts.
Yeah, you could.
That's another problem with the Pro Bowl is that you can't do that. But listen, hey, Austen, I know people are going to be like today, everybody's doing what we're doing, right? They're talking about the pro. I think it's okay to put on an event. The NFL puts on an event. They put on a red carpet honors night. People go, people watch it. Whatever they do, people watch. So I just think somewhere along the way, we just name like the guys that got there and even the alternates, but you don't have to go find replacements. I mean, heck, pull somebody out of the crowd in Santa Clara if you really need to, just to have some fun, making a fan experience moment.
That'd be cool.
7 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, man, for Shedeur Sanders. And the way he apparently played, I didn't watch him much, but all you got to do is read up on the way it looked. It looked like Jarrett Stidham when he fumbled, apparently. That's what I was getting the comp to, right? It looked like that's what he played
Brutal.
on multiple games. It's an integrity thing more than anything else, Austen, in my opinion.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
This poor guy, he came in for a half hour, and at least we got the first 15 minutes in for him.
We did.
You guys were
That's
killing
cool.
it that first 15. I was just sitting here chilling.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
There we go. All right. Yeah. So real quick, I'm not like an engineer expert, but I feel like when we go 4 wide at Bristol with like the screens and everything in the video, for whatever reason, like my bandwidth couldn't handle it and it dropped me. So just for future reference. Now with the Pro Bowl, it cheapens it. It cheapens it drastically, and you can't take it seriously when Shedeur Sanders is going to be one of the quarterbacks in the Pro Bowl, right? Because back in the day, it meant like, hey, if you're a Pro Bowler, you're a pretty good player, and you're probably going to be a starter next year. Is Shedeur Sanders going to be the starting quarterback next year of the Cleveland Browns? Like, there's no guarantee. It's right up there with Tyler Huntley when he got nominated for the Pro Bowl. It's like, how are we supposed to take it seriously when backup quarterbacks are making the Pro Bowl, the most important position in all professional sports, and you're touting out their guys that are afterthoughts? So I agree. I think you should just vote them and let it be. But I think it cheapens the sport and it cheapens the event when you have backups and alternates and everything that probably won't even be starters next year.
Yeah, I think here's the deal. You said we all know this, right? Because we follow the NFL. The All-Pro is a bigger deal because they named everyone from the positions. There's only a couple first team, second team. You don't get a lot of this. And I just find it fascinating that that's a bigger deal to be named All-Pro, and there isn't an event around it. It's basically a newspaper article that comes out with a list of names, and that's the bigger one. What you have just said is like the showcase of the Pro Bowl, this all-star game type of feel, has actually lessened the award over time. And it started because, well, the game itself was a mockery. And so they had to change that all around. And now some of the process is even a mockery because we know that the best players like Devin Lloyd don't get voted into the Pro Bowl initially because it's a popularity contest. So it's wild to see that because it started as like an all-star game showcasey event, from the time that it started to now, it's deteriorated. And it's deteriorated in integrity as well, where players would much rather be named an All-Pro on a piece of paper than go to an event and be honored with a Pro Bowl nod. And I think I wonder if history and the accolades and everything that comes along with it, from like getting into the Hall of Fame and stuff, will also do the same. Like, to me, what you start to say, and we say this about Fred Taylor, right? I think he made one Pro Bowl, and that was bull. He played he was much better than a one Pro Bowl appearance guy. Small market Jacksonville, played in a very good era of running backs, but it should not hurt his criteria to get to Canton. And I think we're going to start to see, as we move along in the years, when people do get elected to Canton, that maybe the Pro Bowl just kind of gets thrown out a little bit in that conversation. It can't hurt you, but I don't know if it will help you as much if we really want to put it into the context of what it's become over the last 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 years. I don't know how long you got to go back. So one last thought on this, guys, before we let Austen go.
Well,
does Trevor Lawrence just not want to go? Do you think he just had family plans? Because a lot of these guys book vacations. Why would he turn it down? And we don't know officially what happened. The Jags haven't released anything. I don't know why they haven't released anything, but it's pretty obvious that he was an alternate. So he said he didn't want to go for some capacity. We don't think he's hurt in any way like he was last year. So I guess, what does it say that Trevor's like, nah, no thanks, even though it could have been on his resume?
yeah, I mean, I just think that it's lost its luster and players do not care anymore. Like, it doesn't mean anything. And, after a long, grueling season where with a disappointing finish against the Buffalo Bills, like, why would you want to go back out there for another week and throw the football around and be around everybody? Like, I think, when you're done playing football for the season, you just kind of want to get away a little bit, decompress, reset yourself. So I just think, that the juice isn't worth the squeeze anymore when it comes to playing in the Pro Bowl. And before I go, I say this every single year, and I'll say it again. The only point of the Pro Bowl, like any All-Star game, is to showcase the athletes. You're not showcasing athletes playing flag football. If you want to get ratings, if you want to have intrigue back with the Pro Bowl, then line up the fastest dudes in the NFL, have a race, put $1 million on the line, and say, let's see who the fastest guy in the NFL is. Put up 225 on the bench press or whatever, 315. Give me all your big offensive linemen and defensive linemen, and let's see who the strongest player in the NFL is. And if that's the case, then once again, put $1 million purse on that. Now guys will show up. Now I'll tune in because I want to see who the biggest is, and I want to see who the fastest is.
Yeah, good stuff. You got to go, but did anything come out of the Doomsday 10 o'clock announcement? Have you seen it yet?
I have not. My Mike's acting crazy again, so maybe that's a sign. Yeah. So the Doomsday Clock, they're going to release something. I don't know if it's like a Marvel movie, Avengers, Doctor Doom promotion. I don't know if they're going to come out there and make a mockery of it and say, it's 6 or 7, minutes to midnight. I have no idea. What's going on with the Doomsday Clock, but it's definitely something to watch over, man. Who knows? Maybe we did Dan Rossini has some links.
All right, go have a good fight game.
Share
go have a good
about what's
fight
happening.
We'll get
Justin, U.S. Bulletin of Atomic Scientists moved the Doomsday Clock forward 4 seconds to 85 seconds to midnight.
The hell does that mean?
Take that as it were.
So, did you hear Austen talking about it before we started the show, Hamby?
Yeah, I mean, I know last year it was 89 seconds, and the year before it was 90. It's just like,
so closer to midnight.
It's a bunch of nutcases coming up with a reason to conglomerate and put out fantasy type crap under
like Armageddon, basically, right? Like,
yeah, I guess.
Okay, but guys, I'm missing 89 seconds. Feels like it should have happened.
No, yeah, that's not legit. Like, it's not. It's almost like their meter. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of time in this situation.
Like, apparently in 1947,
yeah,
the first initial Doomsday Clock, they said that we were 7 minutes to midnight.
Damn.
And then in 1949, 2 years later, the Soviets' first nuclear test, it was 3 minutes to midnight.
Damn, they said we ain't.
Wow,
fast forward.
That quick.
Yeah, fast forward 40 years into the Cold War, they moved it back 17 minutes to midnight.
We were chilling.
Oh, wow.
No worries.
In 2015, because of climate concerns, it was 3 minutes.
Whoa!
Now it's 85 seconds.
Holy cow.
Last year was 90. The year before, unchanged, also 90.
Hey, bro,
because of the war in Ukraine.
Make your lifetime joke, but it sounds like they be moving that thing willy-nilly.
Yeah, it does seem like that. So this has nothing to do with like really the political. Well, I guess it could have something to do with the political landscape because of wars and everything else. But it seems like it has to be like big events around the globe rather than like who's the president or not. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know if it has much to do with anything in reality, Brent.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm not surprised this
I-
isn't a. Hamby's not into this gimmick.
Yeah, I wouldn't be into it either. But Austen actually put it in the chat today, and we were like, "What is?" I actually texted Hamby. I was like, "What is he talking about? Like, what am I missing here?" And he's like, "I have no idea." So we had to ask Austen.
Kilkenny in the chat says it's how close we are to a nuclear war.
Yeah,
so
I just don't understand why they didn't use things that like we can actually do the math on. Like, you know what I mean? Like 85 seconds. Like I'm Googling, there's no like conversion chart, and nobody has like a real answer. So I think they're just saying stuff to say stuff. Cause like,
yeah, it sounds like it.
am I gonna make it or no? That's all I'm wondering at this point.
Yeah, should I spend my money now or what?
Basically.
Like, that's my
Basically.
big thing in life. It's like, listen, I'm trying to save for retirement, and I think we all try to maybe give a little to the kids if we can down the road or whatever. Do what you're supposed to do, right? Keep moving the line forward. But if you're telling me that the world's going to end in like 10 years, let me know, man, because I'm going to play every golf course around.
Okay, so this actually brings up something that I think about sometimes.
Uh-oh, maybe this should be after the break.
Yeah, how
Can we
about we
tease
do that?
this?
Let's do that.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
let's
34,
tease it.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's just
let's
something.
go,
It's something I think about on terms of this general topic. Is all.
I like it.
All right, I
Well,
can't wait to hear it.
Brent, you
By
mentioned
the way-
Freddie T.
Oh, happy birthday, Freddie T. Wasn't yesterday Travis Etienne's birthday? I think I saw. So back-to-back days for Jags running backs, and happy birthday to Fred. I love the number 93 in the Austen Lane Pro Bowl thing. I hope you're going to keep mine up the entire show because I really like it. But Austin, to me, in that shot looks like Calais Campbell more than the Tyson Alualu. That number 93. Maybe because he also was a Pro Bowler, so it made a little sense. Look at that. Gosh, look, I've never looked better. I love ChatGPT.
You got those Alex Honnold eyes.
That's crazy, but it does look like it. Wow, that's creepy.
You do.
I
Those
gotta
suckers are
get a little
dark.
closer. Dark. There's some darkness in there, fellas. Well,
Yeesh.
we'll talk about some of that darkness when we come back. Brent and Austin Show, Action Sports
Yeah.
Jacks,
It's a good tease.
24/7 network. Headed to the Pro Bowl.
If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. When you hear that, you think Bono's Pit Barbecue, a staple in Northeast Florida now for 75 years. A place that feels like home with friendly service, a meeting place for friends, family, or business occasions. On the menu, the corn nuggets are a favorite in our house, but there's something for everyone. Sandwiches, platters, salads, sides, desserts, and family feasts. You see Bono's all over the place in Northeast Florida. You know, there are almost 20 locations in the Jacksonville area now, so stop on by, sit down, and dine in with Bono's. You can also take it to go. There are drive-thrus in many of the locations, and they have delivery options too. Just download the Bono's app to make things easy. I signed up for the loyalty program, and you can too, to get special offers. If Jacksonville is home, few things feel more Jacksonville than Bono's Pit Barbecue. Celebrate 75 years and many more to come. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Hi, I'm Greg Mackey from Cycles of Jacksonville. Whether you're looking for a side-by-side, ATV, motorcycle, or scooter, Honda has what you need.
The Honda Talon. Ultimate performance meets family-friendly fun. Prices starting at $363 a month. Or the sporty Honda CBR 650 starting at an affordable $204 a month.
Stop by and choose your adventure from a full line of Honda products. Only at Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard. Family owned and operated since 1983.
Hello, I'm Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Since 2003, our firm has fought exclusively for the rights of men in family law. Divorce, modification of child support, alimony, custody, and more, all for men. A father is vitally important to a child's life, and being a man is not a reason to pay more in child support or alimony. I'm a single father. I get it. If you have a divorce or other family law issue, contact Kenny Lay & Associates at divorcemenonly.com.
Welcome inside the Armor Guard exterior and gutter helmet showroom. There's a lot going on, like glass exteriors, replacement windows, and down there we have the retractable screens and awnings, plus hurricane protection. Let's talk more about those gutters, and to do that, we bring in Kevin. He's the owner, he's the expert. Why Gutter Helmet?
Well, Gutter Helmet's truly the only maintenance-free product. It lets the trash and debris go on the ground, the water wraps around and goes inside. Unlike filters, they sit on top of the gutters, and the trash and debris build up on top of filters, which requires maintenance. With Gutter Helmet, we're going to keep you off the ladder, the most dangerous thing in your garage. With Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. So get off the ladder and put on the helmet. Gutter Helmet.
Get a free estimate at gutterhelmetofnorthflorida.com. You can also call 904-762-7779 or visit the showroom on St. John's Bluff Road in Jacksonville.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to easily access Action News Jax Now using your Roku device. First, launch Roku. Next, use the menu list to scroll down to the search feature. Then, use the remote to enter Action News Jax into the search bar, and then click Action News Jax thumbnail. Once you see this screen, go ahead and select Add App. Wait a few seconds for it to install. Once it finishes installing, press the star button on your remote and click on Move App or Move App to the top. Finally, select the app back on your home screen to open it. Now you can watch all the great content on Action News Jax Now. Live daily breaking news.
We have breaking news happening right now in Clay County.
First alert weather and traffic.
Looks like we have a tornado warning. Let's take a look at that.
Action Sports Jax 24/7.
We've got the Brent and Austin Show daily, live sporting events, and long-form interviews you can't see anywhere else.
And shows like Law and Crime and much more. And that's how you access Action News Jax Now using your Roku device.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Yeah, man, that's pretty close.
That's, I don't know, like my eyes to me don't look that crazy in that shot, but I guess.
Oh, yeah, they're deep.
Yeah, no, I mean,
it's deep. There's some depth to it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you know, one guy accomplished something real great. He just covered the Pro Bowl 2026, but that's.
No, I made the Pro Bowl, and I'm covering it. I thought I made it. I'm covering it. I missed that part. I thought I was a Pro Bowler. By the way,
that's how bad you are at this. You didn't even get the nod. You just get to cover it.
Yeah, at least I'm working for the NFL now. That seems like a good promotion.
Yeah.
The wedding ring there really pops on the.
It does.
There you go.
It's a good point.
You know, for some reason, it just really pops.
You know what's
anyway.
You know what's funny is the picture I gave them to say this is Brent, which I'm sure you might know which one it is. You can't see your wedding ring, so they just kind of went for it.
That's interesting.
Wow, because none of these pictures of you on the internet are, your wedding's not on here, fortunately.
Huh.
So yeah, they just went for it. That would have been, awkward if you were divorced, but.
Brent, when he graduated college, what do you mean I still look like that, Kilkenny? Come on.
This is an old photo. I hate to tell you. It's your.
It's an old one. I know exactly what one you did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one.
It's funny. It's like we do obviously a bunch of headshots for credentials and stuff. I've been using
you need a new
one for like 10 years.
Yeah, you need a new one. You should.
Well, I don't know, man. I think as you get older, you probably lean on the one that looks like that.
Well, I mean, yeah, but that's not really you. You know what I mean? You gotta re-up.
All right, we were going doomsday before the break, and then you said, I think about this, and I really don't know if I want to know what you think about. most of the time.
Probably not. This
But
one's
here we
pretty.
go.
This one's pretty tame for the most part. And I just want to be perfectly clear. This does not come from a place of politics or anything like that, because I'm sure somebody could make it that. But I'm just being serious. I think about this. Do you think they would tell us if there was a nuke in the air right now?
I've never thought about that.
You've never thought about that?
Bruh.
No.
What about you? You've never thought of that either?
Right now?
If we were about to be nuked, would they tell us? Like the government? Like, would we get an alert?
I feel like I've seen something before where like, or maybe I've just watched movies or shows. I don't know, because that's probably, I know I've never read up on anything like this, but I would think they would have to.
Why?
And almost like,
I don't know about all that.
Major panic.
Yeah, I get it, but like they also tell you when to evacuate for a storm or if an earthquake might be coming or whatever. If they can give you a heads up on stuff like that, they do that.
Right, but like that's a little different. Like you be looking at wind, like Bursch be looking at wind in the ocean 6,000 miles away. He's like, it's going to turn into a hurricane. That's a little different. Like they could just decide nuke now, and you get like 7 minutes to know about it. Or
I thought it was 30.
I think it's like 7
from North Korea.
I'm not saying where it's. I'm just saying in general, it's pretty fast.
That place.
But my point is, like,
an ICBM is not that fast. It's not 7 minutes.
Okay, but they got to pick up on it right away. Do you think they're just going to know? I think the whole thing is element of surprise, is it not?
I think they would know when it's launched, like with their radar stuff that they've got. I would believe that they would know whenever something would be.
I don't think they're telling us because, like, what? Okay, say it's 30 minutes. What good do you have to gain? Like that 30 minutes, wherever that thing is going, you're chaos. People are going to be killing each other. People are going to be running people over to try to get out. Like it's going to be a mess. I don't think.
Where are you
going
to go?
I don't know. But you'd try, wouldn't you? You don't know where you're going, but you would try, would you not?
Yeah, but if you're like here's the only thing I think about, and again, I've never thought about this for a second in my life.
You need to think about more than just sports once again.
Well, I do. I think about
there's
if I'm in
somewhere in between, Kasey, only thinking about sports. How long do we have if we get absolutely nuked?
Yeah, I think about this as an airplane. Like this is the same concept for me. If it's going down, it's going down, and like there's nothing to do about it. So it's like, see ya. And so this would probably be the same thing. But like if I'm in Oklahoma or somewhere else, I have no idea if this would even help or not. But I would think you'd go in one of those tornado shelters.
100%.
Right? And but they're like the only people that would even have maybe a remote chance. Like,
but why are they nuking Oklahoma? You know what I mean? What do they have?
Yeah, I don't know how far stretched it goes. You know, I'm not even sure about the science on all that.
Sure,
the reality of all that. So,
I don't think we would know.
It is a good question. Like, I get what you're saying. I really do. I think they would. I think at the last possible seconds, they would say something. Now, would everybody hear it or see it or whatever? I don't know. Like, I have no idea. But it'd be like I think in the Far East and stuff, or places like you have tsunami warnings. You know,
it's like an alarm. Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah, we don't have like an alarm, do we? Like we wouldn't have the equivalent to that.
We got phones though. Like every time there's an Amber Alert, they push it out.
Well, first of all, apparently
somebody would leak it out. By the way.
Well, yeah.
But would you believe it? Like if you saw it on Twitter, nuke OTW, would you believe it? Like there's so much stuff on Twitter. Like I would be like, yeah, okay, whatever, and then explode. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not.
But a nuke's radius is only like 20 miles apparently. So they'd have to drop an insane amount for everybody to get Joed.
Yeah, I'm not saying everybody, but like it wouldn't be a bunch. Like you would have to be you would have to be somewhat unlucky, right? But I just want to know if we would know. Like I don't think we would. I think it would cause too much of a debacle because like yes, Brent, I agree with you. If they hit it right now and we're like 30 minutes Jacksonville, I would just sit here. Because, like, well, I'd probably go home and be with Amanda. But, like, you know, there's nothing to do. You're cooked. But, like,
literally,
not everyone's going to think that way. Like, you got, in theory, 30 minutes to do, like, whatever you want. Like, people are going to be robbing stores and stealing stuff and, you know, potentially offing people.
Like, first of all, the phrasing that we're using covering this topic right now is fascinating in its own self. Before we all get, what do you say, Jode?
Yeah.
Yeah. What he said.
That means you really got. You're really screwed. You're really done.
Well,
Yep.
So if you're really screwed,
And by the way, that's
people's
named
first
after
thought-
a buddy of mine in high school. 'Cause-
Oh no.
I don't know if you should say whatever you're.
well,
allowed
no,
to
but
say.
if you got Joe, like that was like the worst thing ever because the last thing you wanted to be was like him.
That's
Yeah, I get it.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Joe.
I'm sorry, Joe, and anybody else named Joe. But
Yeah.
I'm fascinated with the idea that if they're about to tell you you're about to go,
Yeah.
that your first response is to go rob a store. like the last thing I want to do on earth is
Okay.
go get free pub sub.
That's a random thing to steal because they'd have to make it anyway. But
It would be too long.
and I'm sure that they would probably call it once they got the alert as well. But like, here's the thing: you get 30 minutes to like do whatever. Like, you could do whatever. Like, if you've always like thought about, come on, Brent. Like, you're not telling me there's people sitting around like this is how I would rob Walmart if I could.
Well, they might be, but I don't think
You
it's
don't
their
even get to
final
reap the
30 minutes
benefits
life.
of it, though.
What else you
got
gonna
30
do?
minutes.
To your point, what else are you gonna do?
Probably a longer list than rob places.
You're telling me that there wouldn't be
Try
mass.
cocaine for the first time ever. Like, I don't
Where are you going
know.
to get cocaine? You still only have a half hour. Like, do you know a guy that you're just sitting on, waiting for this opportunity to come up? Like, you're not just going to be able to walk down the street and be like, where's the cocaine? Like, I don't think that's how that's going to go either.
Just give me a bottle of whiskey, man. Like,
Now, that's doable, but you'd probably
Just give it
steal
to
it,
me.
would you not? You going to wait in line to pay? I mean,
The
point is, they wouldn't tell us.
What would you do in your final 30 minutes? And I'm not talking like on your deathbed, right?
yeah, no, like 30 minutes nuke OT dub. I don't know. Like, I feel like I would just go home and be with Amanda and the dog, but like, you know, what are you going to do? Clean? I don't know. Like, just sit there.
No, you're not going to clean.
That's what I know. I'm saying, like, there's no reason to clean. Like, what are you going to do? Like, I feel like that would be terrible. I'm just going to be honest with you.
What are you
I feel like it would be terrible.
Well, now I'm going to think about it for the first time ever in my life. I'll think
You
about it so
should.
then I'll know what to do just in case.
I think everybody should think about this type of stuff. Like, it's not just sports. Like, are they going to cover the spread? Who cares? What if there's a nuke on the way? What are you going to do? I think it's important. Anyway.
Okay. Back to the Jags.
What other sports crap you got? Brent's frozen.
Oh! You hate to see that.
Bro, maybe he got the text.
You got
Nuke
the
OTW.
You got that.
That's tough.
Honnold.
Also, I want to about this picture on bro on the right. What's his name again?
Alex Honnold.
He got so unlucky with the like chalk on the nose.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even see that.
Really? That's the
Didn't
first
see it.
thing I saw because like we were actually just talking about.
Yeah, we were.
But yeah, he just got unlucky, and there's no way to know. Obviously, it doesn't take away from the picture. Unbelievable picture.
Great picture.
But chalk on the nose part. Did you see the part? By the way, not to go back to this, but going back to it. Did you see the clip where he at one point had no arms or hands?
Yep.
Isn't that legs?
And he was just getting more chalk with both hands.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Crazy work.
Gosh. See you later, Brent.
Yeah, who cares? You got any sports topics?
We have a lot, actually. We're going to have updates on the coordinators, head coaching search in the NFL.
Oh.
Got some Sam Darnold to talk about today.
I like Sam Darnold.
I do too. What?
See, they laughed at me. They called me a fool. Brent and Austin called me a fool.
Yes, they
then
did.
Brent and Aaron called me a fool.
Yes.
And then I came back here and they called me a fool. about Sam Darnold.
Austin was fooling on Darnold last week.
Yeah, I have a Sam Darnold jersey. I knew this
You
guy was
do?
legit. Yeah, I bought it when the Jets got rid of him because it was like $30. And I wore it. Not that you would see this because, it's on radio, but I wore it. And I was like, Sam Darnold, this guy's the real deal. And they laughed at me. They clowned me. But no, not the Seahawks.
Let me ask you this question.
Sure.
If you draft a player,
Uh-huh.
because you're really high on him, obviously, or else you wouldn't have drafted him.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't pan out. And then you let him go, and he performs well elsewhere. Happens all the time in the NFL.
Sure.
If you're the GM, are you almost vindicated because it was there, or are you pissed because you couldn't get it out?
I think in the case of Sam Darnold, I would say if you're the GM of the Jets, and I think, I don't know if this was a real quote or not, but I did see this, that they were like, we knew he was good, but we're the Jets, basically, is what the quote said, which is why it might not be real. But I think there is part of that. Like, if you're, in charge of the Jets, you know what this has been. It feels like there's nothing you can do that will go right. So I feel like if you're the GM, you pound your chest and go, yeah, I knew this guy was going to be legit. The only problem is I'd work for the New York Jets and not, a better team. I think it's hard to be in that spot mad that it didn't work for you because you're just going to blame every reason why it didn't. Well, the coach, the players or whatever. I think you're going to blame everything else and pound your chest for yourself because you identified the talent. That's the guy you picked. Just unfortunately, your team sucked. Like, that's the route that I think it would go. Bert, what up?
Yes, I'm catching Sam Darnold conversation in the middle, but it's fascinating. First of all, right? I mean, it's unbelievable. This is what the cool story. This is when they do the I'm going to Disney World commercial. This is what it was meant to be for. Not Tom Brady going for a sixth time, But I like the story. And I think what you're asking is, did the Jets really make the right move? This is illustration 101 in the NFL, which I've been saying for as long as they've given me a microphone.
Too long.
It's all about too long. It's all about situations. And the situation for
there he goes.
And the situation for him in Minnesota was good, and the situation for him in Seattle is great. But I said my comparison always is Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, and the reason why, because it relates to Jags fans, because they picked Brian Anger in the third round as a punter instead of Russell Wilson. It's like, oh, that's the stupidest thing ever, right? Hamby will laugh. And you're right, because it should be any punter you would never pick over just about any position player in the third round. But the reality is, if they did pick Russell Wilson at that time in Jacksonville, Russell Wilson wouldn't be Russell Wilson. We would not talk about Russell Wilson the way we did for the first 10 years of his career, not right now. We'd probably talk about him more like we do right now. And he would never have done what he did. He was in a great situation. And, in many respects, so was a Tom Brady. I just saw some stats that Tom Brady and Drake May's first 3 postseason games, very equivalent in terms of pass yards and other things. And I was like, wow, I knew Tom Brady didn't have to do a lot at that time. I covered it, but I didn't know it didn't feel like he played poorly. It kind of felt like this last few games at times Drake May played poorly, but I guess statistically they add up to be pretty similar 25 years later. Of course, the game has kind of changed to what you're asking the quarterback to do week in, week out to win football games. But the whole point there is situationally, Russell Wilson and Tom Brady, I thought, got put in really good situations early in their career until they could evolve into the players that they became. They could settle in with continuity, good defenses, good running games. They didn't have to be the one doing the thing until it was time to be the guy. And now we ask all these young players right away to be the guy, like Sam Darnold, because he's a high pick, and he just got put in a bad situation. Would Blaine Gabbert have been better in his career if Jack Del Rio never played him? If he goes to some other team, could sit for a year maybe or two and then go play with some of the gifts that he has? I would suspect yes. Now, I don't think he would be a great player. I'm not sure he was ever destined to be great, but he would have been better. And I think what we're seeing about Sam Darnold is, hey, he isn't going to be, I don't think, a Hall of Fame quarterback. I'm not sure he was going to be a franchise saver, but he can play and you can win with him at quarterback, given a situation that's pretty good around him or even decent. I don't even think he needs to be like elite around him. It turns out that Seattle's pretty damn good all around him. So that's what this is. It's all about situation. What you really give him a lot of credit for is battling through it. From the ghosts to the other stuff, that's a lot to get through, man. And I just don't think I don't think there are a lot of people that can do that, especially in that highly scrutinized position. And you guys know this. This is what I give Trevor a lot of credit for. And I don't think he gets credit for. This is a guy that never had to deal with adversity in his entire playing career as a young player. And he comes here, he's got to deal with Urban Meyer, which a lot of people would say is just one of the worst situations that they've ever seen anybody put it. And so he gets through that. And then he gets through whatever else it is, from injuries to drops to offensive line to multitude of coaches, to turn into what we think now is is the product that hopefully he is consistently, there's a lot to be said for that. And I just think people assume that it automatically happens. I think there are a lot of human beings and a lot of quarterbacks that currently exist in the NFL that would not have been able to come back from some of that stuff. And specifically, there are a lot of people that wouldn't be able to come back and do what Sam Darnold's doing after the mess that he had to go through. And I'll even give like Baker Mayfield. He had some of this going on as well. So it's really cool to see those reclamation projects, if you will, end up in good spots and end up on the other side of what I think is a really tough situation, more mentally than physically.
Yeah. What you got?
I think that begs the question now. This was the Austin's big question for the day: is which Jaguar do Jaguar fans see almost like the Jets or Vikings see Sam Darnold as the one that got away, the one that didn't pan out in the history of the franchise? Which one was the best on another team that, man, you just watched him play the rest of his career and you couldn't stand it because you never saw anything like that while he was in town?
Do you have one off the top of your head, Brent? He does not.
I don't know what happened. We lost him. We're going to make that our tease.
Okay, I like that.
We're going to go to...
This guy, look at this guy. He's like, what do you mean my microphone's not working?
We're going to show you this on a frigid
chilly
Tuesday in
chilly.
Jacksonville.
30 degrees out there.
When we come back, let us know in the chat, the Jaguar that got away.
Yeah, because I don't have one. The reason I asked Brent that is I don't have one off the top of my head.
Oh.
Do you? Like
I
as
think
soon as you said it?
There's a low-hanging fruit pick.
Really?
Yeah.
Am I dumb?
I mean, this player is not, like, unbelievable.
Well, I mean, there's some recency bias in one, but I don't know if it's... Oh, damn. The one that I'm thinking of, at least, it's not like, oh, they really, really screwed up. They did screw up. But, like, maybe, I mean, we're not thinking of the same person. But I'll be interested to see what the chat has to say, or once we have time to think about it, because I got one that's kind of there, but it's not like we screwed up.
Right.
But, we'll see what we stumble upon.
That's it.
When we come back, stay warm out there, because it is chilly in Jacksonville. How about it? Get a sweater.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models, or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
This has been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jax PAL.
Welcome inside the Armor Guard exterior and gutter helmet showroom. There's a lot going on, like glass exteriors, replacement windows, and down there we have the retractable screens and awnings, plus hurricane protection. Let's talk more about those gutters. And to do that, we bring in Kevin. He's the owner. He's the expert. Why Gutter Helmet?
Well, Gutter Helmet is truly the only maintenance-free product. It lets the trash and debris go on the ground. The water wraps around and goes inside. Unlike filters, they sit on top of the gutters, and the trash and debris build up on top of filters, which requires maintenance. With Gutter Helmet, we're going to keep you off the ladder, the most dangerous thing in your garage. With Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. So get off the ladder and put on the helmet. Gutter Helmet.
Get a free estimate at gutterhelmetofnorthflorida.com. You can also call 904-762-7779 or visit the showroom on St. John's Bluff Road in Jacksonville.
Hi, I'm Greg Mackey from Cycles of Jacksonville. Whether you're looking for a side-by-side, ATV, motorcycle, or scooter, Honda has what you need.
The Honda Talon. Ultimate performance meets family-friendly fun. Prices starting at $363 a month. Or the sporty Honda CBR 650 starting at an affordable $204 a month.
Stop by and choose your adventure from a full line of Honda products. Only at Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard. Family owned and operated since 1983.
Hello, I'm Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay and Associates. Since 2003, our firm has fought exclusively for the rights of men in family law. Divorce, modification of child support, alimony, custody, and more, all for men. A father is vitally important to a child's life, and being a man is not a reason to pay more in child support or alimony. I'm a single father. I get it. If you have a divorce or other family law issue, contact Kenny Lay and Associates at divorcemenonly.com.
CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing is taking their 75-plus years of expertise and expanding to CGC Home Services. Water treatment and plumbing is still a big part of what they do, and now they can do even more for you. Home services like kitchen and bathroom remodeling, showers, sinks, faucets, toilet repair, backflow testing, and the list keeps going. Find all they can do at cgchomeservices.com or give them a call, 904-298-7052. It's a new look and a new name with the same expertise. They've been serving homes like yours since 1946. CGC Home Services, right here in Jacksonville off St. John's Bluff Road, 904-298-7052. And visit cgchomeservices.com. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
So a lot of conversation about Sam Darnold, and here is basically the question we were asking. I mean, I think Sam Darnold's a cool story. Obviously, he lands in a great spot. Last couple of years, delivered 14 wins, 2 different teams, only player in NFL history to do that. Now he goes to the Super Bowl. What a story it would be if Sam Darnold could win. And by all accounts, good dude, and really doesn't kind of live in the past, lives in the moment. So, the mental fortitude to be able to do that and not really think about the journey I just don't think that's normal in its own self. But Hamby and just asked a question as we welcome everybody back to the Brent and Austin Show. Brent Martineau, Austin and Fight Camp down in Orlando. Kasey Kuhrts here as well until about noon. Jason Hamby as well. And I think the chat's probably already coming up with one of the answers I think that you guys probably teased. Is there a Jags player that now plays for another team or in the past played for another team that it almost pains you to see them do so well, not because you're rooting against the player, but because the Jags screwed it up and let them go? And I think the fascinating part about this conversation, in my time here in 18 years covering the Jags, there are so many times that we would say, heck, you hope that other player that goes somewhere else even gets picked up by another team. There are so many players that were dropped by the Jags and then we're done in the NFL. And that just gave you insight on the roster of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, in the last, I would say, 5, 6, 7 years, a lot of those guys move on to other teams and play. And then you do even have the Quincy Williams of the world. You guys just I can't say 6, 7 at all, can I? Unbelievable. I saw it.
I'm surprised you caught that, but yes, that is what I was thinking. Hamby wasn't even looking at me though, so I was like, "Oh, okay, 6, 7," and then nobody was with me. So, all right.
But
Nice
you take a player like Quincy Williams, and Williams is a is a guy that turned into an all-pro. Now, I don't know if he's consistently that guy. He might have just had a really good year, but the Jags let him go for nothing. I think there's another one like Josh Oliver where we wondered, okay, is Josh Oliver going to be year in, year out an unbelievable player? Well, that wasn't the thing. It was more that I think it was Urban. I think it was Urban, or was it Peterson? I don't know which one. Got rid of him like without even going to camp.
No, it was Urban.
And
it was Urban.
It was Urban, right? So they got rid of him for like a 6th-round pick or something. I don't know what it was. And wait, why don't you see a young player and see what he's got? Well, he's actually played in the league for a long time and been pretty good. He's not awesome, but he's pretty good.
He scores sometimes.
I think what everybody's referencing now is K'Lavon Chaisson, right? That's the one where you guys were thinking.
I actually was not. I forgot about him. So you know.
Oh wow.
I was thinking about Quincy.
I was also thinking about Quincy Williams.
Oh wow. Okay. I thought when you said low hanging fruit, I was thinking you were talking about K'Lavon Chaisson because Chaisson's having
he's having an insane year.
He was terrible. He was terrible for the Jags in 4 seasons. They hung on to him for 4 years, and he was a 1st-round pick. And from a 1st-round pick standpoint, he was just terrible. Now, was he a better football player than we'll give him credit for? Probably. Like, I think he was decent against the run, and he did some things. We had 3.5 sacks in 4 years. The last 2 years in the Raiders, he started to come to life with the Raiders. And then what he's done in New England this year is going to earn him a lot of money. He's a big part of that defense. Every time I watch a Patriots game, you see number 44 and you hear his name mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great story for him. It shows sometimes it will click at some point, and thankfully he has enough talent where he wasn't kicked out of the league before he got to showcase it, and he was able to sign on with a couple more teams. I also don't blame the Jags here. What were they supposed to do? I mean, they gave him 4 years, and they couldn't figure it out. I don't know why it took 6 years for it to really click for K'Lavon Chaisson. He was a young player coming out of LSU. I do know that. I think he was like 20 when he was drafted. But I have no idea why he's playing this well, and the Jags couldn't get him to do like a quarter of what he's doing in New England. So again, I say situational. And I also would say this, guys, Kasey and Jason, you can speak to it. I don't really feel like the fan base is mad at the Jags, or also like it pains them to watch Chaisson do well. I think they know what I just said. They gave him 4 years of runway, and they couldn't get good football out of him, so it was time to move on.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm not sure if what I thought, to be honest, until you said it, but on first thought, yes, I agree with that because you tried, right? What's funny here is I didn't think about Chaisson, but I thought about what if C.J. Henderson would have been good somewhere else. That would have been the answer.
Yeah.
Although this is pretty comparable, except C.J. Henderson didn't really, I don't want to say didn't have a chance to be good here, but obviously Chaisson played more downs than C.J. Henderson. I would think so. I'm not looking at the stats, but it feels like Chaisson would have had to have played more. But yeah, I don't sit there when I was watching the Patriots like this weekend or on the playoffs. Every time they say Chaisson's name, my immediate thought isn't, why didn't you do that with the Jags? My immediate thought is, damn Jags. Like, I'm mad at the Jags, not like the player. And I'm not mad because they got rid of him. I'm just mad because there was talent there and you couldn't make him into the guy that the Patriots have. I think that's my frustration.
I get it. And I don't think there's a lot of angst there. I don't think you're super mad at the Jags either. Like it's not like he's turned into Max Crosby just yet. We'll see. Let's see where Chaisson goes. Somebody's going to probably give him a lot of money. I'm not sure he's worth like crazy amount of money. I think I'll give you another guy that I thought for a minute people were like this. And then I'll give you another candidate on this year's team for that to happen. So first is Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson was a guy I think that a lot of people liked here in Jacksonville for good reason. Had a huge year in 2015, and then they tried to sign him to a contract deal going into that 2017 season. Couldn't come to an agreement with him, and then he gets hurt 2017, the first snap or two of that year against Houston.
Brutal.
And well, then they didn't get a deal done. They took a gamble. They'd hit the market and get more money. They did. I think he went to Chicago right after. And he had a good year in Chicago. I want to say his first year in Chicago was a good one. But
he was good in Chicago.
I think just the first year, Kasey. You might have to look up.
No, he actually
No.
did pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, the first year was 55 for 754 and 4, but then 98 for 1,107.
And then
So that was his second year.
Dang, 102 for 1250 and 6.
So he had 2 good years there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And then
And it fell off steeply.
The last year he got hurt, 410 and 1. But those couple of years, like coming off the first year, because I mean, it was only 13 games that first year, 754 and 4. Don't get me wrong, that's not fantastic, but something to buy into. And I remember that 2020, because he was high in fantasy drafts, is where I'm going. Coming off the, I guess, 1,100 yard year, he was really good that year. So I don't know how much of. I mean, the Jags were terrible, so, like, what were you going to – Allen Robinson on 2020 Jags wouldn't have mattered.
Right.
Well, there was also the time – remember when one thing that softened the Robinson departure was, first of all, 2017 was really good. And then I forget what year, guys, now, and maybe this didn't coincide. I may be going back too far. Give me when did DJ Chark get drafted? Because Chark in his second year makes the Pro Bowl for the Jags. So it might have coincided. That was 18. See, so that's when you feel like you've got a really good receiver in Chark that you drafted. He goes to the Pro Bowl, and that makes the Allen Robinson stuff kind of a wash, because now you got a young player you can buy into. He's 6'4", he can run. He's actually got better skills, than a guy like Allen Robinson in many respects.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think anybody was ever like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that you didn't re-sign Allen Robinson, but he's an example of a guy who produced at a pretty good level. I didn't realize he had 2 years like that. So you take the whole 3-year compilation in Chicago, it was pretty good. Allen's always I really like Allen Robinson, and he's always an interesting case for me because I don't know what happened. I don't know if the injuries just caught up so much, because it really falls off after that big year in Chicago in like 2019, 2020, whatever, when you're talking about, and he could never find it again. He went to the Rams as well. He bounces around. I think he goes to Pittsburgh too, and or maybe it's Detroit. Maybe all
Both.
3 of those.
And
he could never get it again. I always thought because maybe he wasn't a fast guy, that the league got so fast, speed became such a premium, that maybe that was one of the reasons that he just couldn't produce at the level that he did in that stretch of time. But I really still don't know. To this day, and overall had a good few years. The one in Jacksonville was enormous, right? It was 14 touchdowns and 1,400 yards, and he got to the Pro Bowl.
You're exactly right. How many catches though, Brent? See if you can nail it. You're exactly right. 1,400 on the dot, 14 touchdowns. How many catches though?
I don't think he was a 90 catch guy. I want to say it was like 86 or something like that.
Oh, my God. Close. 80.
It was 80. Okay. Yeah. That was a phenomenal season, man. I mean, a 14 touchdown season, catching the football, first of all, is remarkable for any team. But for this football team who hadn't had a 1,000-yard receiver in a decade since Jimmy Smith, like, it was monumental. And he was doing that with Allen Hurns as well. And you thought you had your, like, a tandem, or add in Marquise Lee, you thought you had a pretty good future at wide receiver for the first time in over a decade for the Jags.
He had a 90-yarder. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember the 90-yarder. He was underrated. I remember Jerry Sullivan about Allen Robinson, and I think he likened him because everybody was complaining about his speed. He's like, well, why did you pick him here at this point? He's not a fast guy. He didn't run well at the combine, I don't think it was. And Allen came out of Penn State, right?
Yeah.
Another Penn State guy. And I think Jerry Sullivan was like, well, did the same thing with a guy like Anquan Bolden. Like, he had helped find Anquan Bolden. And be like, okay, well, that's cool. And then Allen starts producing. You're like, hey, damn, Jerry Sullivan, he knows what he's talking about. So it was a good find. And he was, I always liked Allen a lot. I thought he was a good player here. And you talk about 50-50 balls, still even today, I think he's the best guy I've seen in my 18 years go get 50-50 balls for the Jags.
Made $95 million in his career.
That's almost high praise, Brent. Like, you're old, you've seen a lot of balls, so like that makes it a high praise. But then when you remember you're in Jacksonville, what was he competing against? But it's still a good compliment.
Yeah, like this. Yeah, this team is still looking for that, don't you think? Like, Parker right now might be their guy on a 50-50 ball.
Well, I mean, honestly, you could probably give it to Travis, sight unseen almost. Like, you look at the catch he made against the Chiefs and be like, all right, well, I don't need to see anymore. Like, you're the best 50-50 guy we got. It doesn't matter what else we got.
Travis Hunter, yes.
We
guy.
said Travis. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Then I was like, oh, right. My bad.
All right, I got one more for you then about Jags could really fall into that this year.
Hey, real quick before you do that.
Yeah.
Like DJ Chark, I'm just looking at it. That guy's out of the league.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him.
Like I'm looking
what
at
happened to him.
I mean, he left Jacksonville, had 500 yards for the Lions in 11 games, which doesn't feel terrible. 500 yards for Carolina in 23, the terrible Carolina team. Then played 7 games for the Rams and had 4 catches in 24, and then out of the league.
Yeah,
That's wild to me.
Again, both those guys are really interesting to me, and Chark maybe even more so because he's kind of built a little bit like Brian Thomas Jr., I think. Right? He's a 6'4", fast guy, and I don't know what happened. I think injuries. I think one thing we don't want to admit that sometimes when you get hurt, you banged up, you lose a step, you lose whatever else, and they really hamper you. And I wonder that with both A-Rob and specifically with DJ Chark, because Chark even now, what's he? You said 18. He was a young guy coming out of Alexandria, Louisiana.
He's 29.
29 years old. He should still be playing in the league.
Yeah. He signed a contract with the Falcons last July for their camp and was released in August. So
yeah, that's when you know it's done, right? When you can't stay on a team.
That's just wild. Feels like he should be able to play.
Like Laquan Treadwell, basically, is what he turned into.
Or LaVisca.
Yeah, but even like I feel like DJ had more upside than LaVisca, even though they were drafted, I think, in similar rounds, if I'm not mistaken. But the Jags are in an interesting spot now for this kind of conversation. Is letting Devin Lloyd go going to be something you regret? Is Travis Etienne, if you let him go, is that going to be something you regret? Or do you just have to live with that when you feel like you're a pretty good football team? Because there are a lot of other teams that have to do this, because they're pretty good. They can't afford it, salary cap, whatever else, log jam, draft guys, whatever the circumstance. This might be finally like the regular operation of an NFL good football team where the Jags just have to say goodbye to some good players. And recently Calais Campbell, they said goodbye probably too soon. So we have some examples of it, but not a lot. And I think Etienne and Lloyd, though, are really two that you're going to be like, son of a gun, because those guys might really perform next year and over the next couple of years. And you decided for maybe good reasons, but whatever reasons, to not keep them.
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously, I know Austin is very strong on the you got to bring Travis Etienne back thing. I just feel like with running back, me and Hamby talked about this on Friday, I think, Monday. You find a guy is kind of where I think that lands. And Travis Etienne's great, don't get me wrong. I think he could go to pick your team and be very good for 1 to 2 years, but again, it is still running back. So that one I think is a little different. The Devin Lloyd one, I think there could be a scenario where he's like a multi-time Pro Bowler, which we've established doesn't matter, but you get the idea. He goes somewhere. He goes to one of those defenses that's like real good already, and you add that guy, and it's like...
if he's playing next to Fred Warner, he's probably going to play pretty well.
Right, something like that.
Or he goes to New England.
New England, Baltimore, well, not anymore, but Baltimore on paper should be better on defense. But that's one that it feels like you could look at for the next 4 years and be like, yeah, we probably could have used that guy. And I understand it's not all been good in Jacksonville, but I feel like you can't look at you look at what happened on the field this year and go, yeah, I feel like we need to, because they were a different defense when he wasn't in. We saw that at times. So.
Well, here's the question, I think, is what will the narrative be if Lloyd's not on the team and come next season, week 4, then week 8, and every week after that, the Jags have half the turnovers, or at least on that rate, on that path. Is it going to be automatically, well, we don't have Devin Lloyd, so that's why we're not forcing turnovers, or will the fan base be able to step back and be like, well, look, I mean, you went from 9 the year prior to how many do we have this year? I mean, it was insane.
32.
30? Yeah. So where's the reduction to the mean at some point? And if you finish next year with 15, is that just because you let go of Devin Lloyd, or is it just because that was what was bound to happen anyway? Because as good as you played on defense this year and you earned a lot of those a lot of those were very advantageous. A lot of other teams were not getting those.
Yeah, I think I think this is all a hindsight kind of question, or it could be real time, week to week, because it's an emotional fall when games are going on. But I think what you just said has different layers. Okay, how are the Jags doing? How are they doing at linebacker specifically? And then also, how is Devin Lloyd doing wherever he is? Because, if Devin Lloyd's got one turnover and he's whiffing on tackles and he's not playing at a great level, you're not wishing that you gave him $14 million a year or $18 million a year or whatever it's going to cost. So I think there are levels of this, and the same will go for ETN. That we'll just see how the Jags are. That's where we just haven't seen it happen in Jacksonville. Like, you've got to go replace. How do you replace the person that you have to say goodbye to? That's the problem with why do people still bring up Calais Campbell, that at 40 years old, if he comes back and plays, hey, sign him again, because you haven't really replaced it. That's why they want it, because you haven't replaced it. And as much as you love Calais Campbell, who wants a 40-year-old defensive tackle? No, you want a 23-year-old that can play like that guy. Yeah. That's what you really want. So how the Jags do drafting, what their plan is behind Lloyd and ETN, I think really will justify, validate, ease the fan base on however that works out. And that's all circumstantial. I will say this, though, now that we've removed ourselves from the season by weeks, and you just look at the business side of it, and you take a look at, say, the Rams organization. I don't think the Rams are paying Lloyd or signing ETN back. I think they're trusting their system, their eyes, and their ability to assess talent, and they're replacing them with cheaper, younger options in the draft. I don't think they're going to sign like a free agent. I just think they're going to replace those guys with that. Because the other thing is this, if from an investment standpoint, I think ETN, the Jags have really done a good job with. People will question whether they should have spent a first-round pick on him. Well, 3 out of the 4 years that he's played, and I get it, 1 year he was hurt, nature of the position, nature of the sport. He delivered, 1,300 plus yards, something like that from scrimmage. The touchdowns that he's put together. To me, he's been a very valuable part of this team, whether you got him in the first round or got him in the third round. Like, a lot of value, and you also got a lot out of him. And now you say, hey, good luck the rest of your career. We're going to try to find the next you at 22, 23 years old. The Lloyd one's a little bit more interesting, and I think a little more tricky, because really didn't get a lot out of him as a first-round pick. Got a huge year. But if I have to put you guys on a truth serum right now, do you think Devin Lloyd just played the best year of his career?
There's no doubt.
When it's
Probably.
all said and done.
Yeah, probably.
And so from a business standpoint, I'm like, I'm going to pay to that level, but I'm never going to get that level. And that's just probably the reality of it. So that's why I think from a business standpoint, it doesn't make a lot of sense to bring either guy back. The only thing that I think does make some sense is to franchise tag ETN for the dollar. For $14 million, is it worth you spending $14 million to maybe have your best player back on offense in a room where you're spending nothing? Like, you have no money allocation right now to the running back room. And maybe 14 is too much. That's what you're going to ask yourself. So, but outside of that, it makes zero sense to go do a 3-year deal with him or a 4-year deal with him. If he wasn't ETN, if it wasn't the Jags, we'd be like, no, I wouldn't do that if this was the Titans or Bengals or whoever else.
Right. Do you take into consideration that this is the Jags when you talk about the Devin Lloyd point, and it would be somewhat awkward for the Jacksonville Jaguars of all teams to let their best defensive player from last year walk away? Like, I'm not saying the fan base isn't committed to the gimmick right now because it was a good season, don't get me wrong, but I do think it'd be like, the Jags doing? Like, nationally. Like, this guy's walking away after just having that year. And yes, I agree with you. He will probably never play another season as good as the one he played this year. But don't you kind of got to fight for that if you're the Jags? Or
I mean, you could make an argument that, nationally, if they don't know, I mean, just going off this year, well, you got a new GM and you got Jacoby Myers. Well, he earned it and you paid him. And Van Lanen had not even just a career year. He had a career 6 games.
Sure.
And you paid him to try and get ahead of it. So will you reward Devin Lloyd just like the other two? This would be the first instance that we know of, obviously, of Gladstone being a GM and letting somebody who has performed and earned a contract walk because he just disagrees with how much that they have earned.
Here's what I think they'll do, and I don't know. This is fascinating to see how they'd ever even tell us this in private or in public. But would you make him an offer just to show that, hey, we tried, like we want to keep you, but we can only go to a certain point. It's almost like, hey, we want to go get Quinton Williams, but we're only going to give up XYZ to get him. We can't go this far.
Mm-hmm.
And then so you said to the players, like, listen, man, we really appreciate what you did. Like, this was awesome. We love you to be around it. We think you're a really good player. But from an allocation standpoint, we're already paying $15 million for Foye Oluokun. We can go here. It might be in your best interest to go even get more money on the open market. We want to be fair to you in that regard. If you want to be back here, be a part of this thing, we'd love to have you here to the offer. If not, we totally get it. Like, that's business. And I think I could see a situation where they do that. I don't think they do that with ETN. I think they're going to be more like, do you want to do the franchise tag or not? I think it's pretty simple there. But I wouldn't be surprised behind closed doors, and if we ever find out, who knows, that the Jags made a pitch for Devin Lloyd because of exactly what you guys are saying.
Yeah, it'd be stupid not to offer him. Yeah, I mean, you have to throw something out there. I mean,
well, but you can't lowball it either, right? Because that's bad too. That's a tricky spot. You don't want to. That's very disrespectful to the player. So you can't just say, "Hey, we love you back," but only if you take $10 million a year.
Well, no, they can't offer him $10 million a year, but
I think I would be flabbergasted if Devin Lloyd goes to pick your team, and in the introductory press conference, he's like, "Yeah, the Jags I never heard from. After I played, that was it, and I knew I wasn't coming back. I never got an offer from the Jags." If he said something like that, I'd be flabbergasted because that was your best player on defense. Like, you better make him, in my opinion, at least consider staying here, right? If you want to try to do the hometown discount thing because you're not really sure you want him back for what you got to pay. Now, don't lowball him. If you make it close, I think that's the bare minimum. Because if he's like, I never heard from him, I'd be like, that's bad. Like, that's not
a tricky
how you
spot, man. Because listen, I love this kind of conversation because we don't know what those look like, but there's so much in play. You can't lowball them. Right. You don't want to pay him probably what the market will pay him. But do you even want to pay him a reasonable offer? So what if he says yes? Like, I don't know if they want $30 million tied up in their linebackers. Like, that just might not be the way they want to allocate it.
So let's just try to hypothetical it. I mean, best of NFL contracts, especially they get boosted year after year after year. Let's just say he's with what, Brent? What do you want to say? 25 a year on the open market?
No.
20?
You guys would have to. I don't know the linebacker market. It's not that high.
So Fred Warner makes 21.
25.
Fred Warner makes 21.
The franchise tag is 25. That's
Roquan Smith makes 20. Tremaine Edmonds makes 18. Zach Bond makes 17. Nick Bolton makes 15.
Okay, well, let's just say with inflation, all that stuff, he's worth 17.
The franchise tag can't be 25 if those guys are the highest paid linebackers. But whatever.
Let's just say 17.
Okay, $17 million. That would be what, a fair offer?
That would be like
be high.
Fair to high.
That feels like what he could potentially get because everyone tries to one up. So I think 17's fair.
Yeah,
like a 3 for 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, and keep in mind now you're his age and he's 27. You're probably trying to get a 4-year deal because this is it.
Probably.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're probably trying to get 4 years for $72 million.
Okay.
That's like 18 a year, which by the way comes with what? I don't know, 40 million guaranteed or something. Yeah, I don't think the Jags want that Jags would be paying $33 million for their linebackers.
A lot. See, by looking at this, I think Nick Bolton's the best linebacker in the league. I've said that a lot, especially when at the Super Bowl. I remember coming up saying I can't believe how fast that guy is around the field. He makes $15 million on average per year. If I'm the GM, which I am not smart, I would say internally, I'm not paying my guy more than Nick Bolton because he's not better than Nick Bolton. I think Nick Bolton's the best linebacker in the league. So if Nick Bolton makes 15 and I like Devin Lloyd a lot, let's say 13.5 is where I would go. And although that may seem low, I think you at least tried. I mean, that would be something that I think you could at least respect and know that he's probably going to get more. But I can sit there if I'm the GM and say, I gave him what I think is fair. He's right. He would be paid right under who I think is the best in the league. And if he signs it, great. We're happy to have you. And if he goes and gets 18, then so be it. That's where I think I'd be.
If Lloyd hypothetically would sign a 3-year, $45 million deal, which I think would be very favorable to the Jags.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you said Brent.
You still don't think the Jags would want to tie up that money in the linebacking group?
3 years, $45 million. They might do that. They might do that, but that would put them what do you say, about 6th, 7th linebackers, something like that?
Yes, right.
I did it again.
You did it again. Yeah, that would be around 6, 7. Yeah.
They still got near $30 million tied up in the linebacking group, but a little less.
Yeah, for 1 year too. Yeah, I mean, it would 3 years, $45 million doesn't sound like a lot to me. 4 years, $60 million does. Isn't that funny?
Sure.
Like in my mind,
Yeah,
like
I
it just
getcha.
it's a different animal. And I'm also thinking like Trayvon Walker, like how much is going toward that? Would you rather be allocating money toward that? The one thing, Foye should come off your books after this next year. At least for the most part, it's a little bit better. So
what's easier to
yeah,
replace?
again,
Trayvon
I'm not a
Walker or Devin Lloyd?
capologist. Say that again.
What's easier to replace, Trayvon Walker or Devin Lloyd?
I think
right
Devin
now?
Lloyd. I think Devin Lloyd.
You think there's more of that position that can play at a high level than edge?
I do, Casey, because I think you can find him in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round as well. I don't think you find Trayvon Walker anywhere but a top 5 pick or a top 10 pick, depending on the draft. You just don't find people with his athleticism, the things that he can do. I know, again, stats aren't going to jump out this year, the whole Hutchinson conversation. The bottom line is, if you talk to football people, they love like everything about Trayvon Walker, everything. And they can't find human beings to do what he does. So
that's fair.
Yeah, I just think it's way more valuable
I'm
to
not saying
have that.
I'm not saying you're wrong. It feels like that's the guy that always requests the trade, though. Max Crosby, get me out. Myles Garrett, potentially get me. It feels like that guy. I'm not saying it's easy to do because you'd be giving up a lot for it, but
Micah Parsons,
get me. Like, that's the guy that I feel like you could potentially
Trey Hendrickson
go for the trade for. But
yeah,
again, I mean, either both are talented and it's going to be hard to replace. You mentioned the Rams defense, by the way. I've been trying to find like some sort of, or the Rams model of letting guys go or whatnot. The Rams are good at drafting. Like, it's crazy because like I'm looking at guys they paid on their defense that weren't there, and the guy, the homie Landman, the linebacker, came from Atlanta, but he wasn't that good before they made him to be that guy.
He was more like Vaughn, right? He was like the Vaughn get for Philly, where he was just a guy.
And it was like 3 years, $22 million. I looked, but like Spates, they drafted Verse, they drafted obviously, Fisk and Turner and Young. They did, I mean, not a linebacker, but they did they brought in Poona Ford, who, again, wasn't a huge amount of money, but like that's a guy that you found to fill a role. I think it's probably tougher the position Devin Lloyd plays, but the point is they just draft really well, and that's why they don't have to, I think, pay guys long term because they've done really well in the draft, and I'm not saying the Jags haven't, but you got to prove that you're going to do that consistently, I think, before you can let good players walk away.
Here's the thing. This doesn't sound. Again, I'm a Devin Lloyd fan. I just think I'm trying to talk from a business standpoint.
Sure.
He just had one of the best years in the history of the Jags defenses individually. I mean, he really did. It'd be up there, probably in the top 10 at the very least. Rasheed Mathis had some big years. Obviously, Calais, Josh Hines-Allen's had big years. You go all the way back to the Brackens of the world and everyone else. Telvin Smith had a big year. So I think it would be in a top 10 type of season for a Jags defender. But remember, in training camp, he was battling with Ventrell Miller to be the starting guy. And so I don't think Ventrell Miller has the year that Devin Lloyd just had. But I do wonder, can he have the Devin Lloyd year he's about to have in 2026? Because I don't think Devin Lloyd's doing this again. Like you said, back to the mean we go. What is the mean? And can Ventrell Miller fill that gap, under contract in year 4, by the way, also in a contract year, should be motivated to play very well, much like Devin Lloyd. And maybe he has 3 picks and a couple of big plays and however many tackles and, plays out of his mind. Why not just take a flyer at that for $1.3 million instead of paying a guy?
So I would agree with you, but my rebuttal would be, are you willing to find that out playing a first-place schedule expecting to win the division? Are you willing to find out the guy that wasn't good enough to play for you last year is good enough now?
If it means that those dollars can be attributed to Trayvon Walker, and maybe because of that, then you tag ETN, which I know is really expensive, the $14 million, but if that allows you to do something else that you want to do, you're going to have to take a lump somewhere.
I get that, for sure.
So if it's Devin Lloyd to Ventrell, and Brent, like you said, can Ventrell have the year that Devin Lloyd just had? I think that's a great way to think about it, because Devin Lloyd, again, is not having 5 picks next year and all of that good stuff. And the ball, if 3 of those passes, Devin Lloyd is right there, but they just go through his hands, which is very, very probable for a linebacker in the NFL,
sure. Then
we're we're not paying Devin Lloyd.
Different conversation.
If he doesn't have the pick 6 against the Chiefs, 10-15% more percentage of the fan base is of course not. Of course not. We have to spend elsewhere. We have to save for Trayvon. We've got this. We've got that. We just paid Jacoby and we just paid Van Lanen. No, not happening.
Sure.
So it was special moments and plays that Devin Lloyd had to take away from him, but there was very special, particular moments that he provided that were awesome, which is why the fan base specifically wants him back so badly.
Yeah, it's kind of look, Josh Hines Allen had 17.5 sacks. Doing that every year is probably not a super realistic thing to say. He was very impactful this year. I think he's worth the money you're spending on him, but he's not going to do that every single year. That might be and could very well be his career season in the NFL. So where does Lloyd return to? Where can Ventrell get to? Or whoever you bring in here. And just lastly, to finish this up, I think the Jags are actually in a very fortunate situation in this regard, because these are the 2 players everybody's talking about. These are, to me, the 2 easiest positions, or 2 of the easier positions to find in the middle rounds of a draft. And the Jags have 3 third-round picks at the moment, a second-round pick, a 4th-round pick, and 2 fifth-round picks. Can you find the next ETN and Lloyd with, what did I just say, 7 of those picks on 2 of them? I think you can. And that's and by what you just said, Kasey, about the Rams, Gladstone came from there. He's going to think he can, because he's watched the Rams do it. He trusts their process. He trusts his eyes. He trusts his evaluation. And oh, by the way, there's already evidence he did it here. He did it with Tootin and LaQuinn Allen, who performed very well coming out of the 4th and 7th round. That's another indicator to me. If I'm him, I'm taking one of those 3rds or 5ths, and I'm finding my next guy, because I already showed you that I can do it. And Tootin, heck, he might be the guy. He might actually be the guy, and you settle somebody else into that complimentary role. So, yeah, again, take the emotion out of it, take the jersey out of it a little bit here, and I think the business side speaks a lot of logic to say these guys are going to be obviously gone where the Jags are currently constructed. Let's try to stay on time. We'll hit a break. There are the Jags turned Patriots that are going to the Super Bowl, and I think people forget Chad Muma. Good for him. Chad Muma's a really good dude. Cool story with playing through type 1 diabetes. We've shared that story before, and I think he went to Indianapolis and then ended up with the New England Patriots, primarily playing the special teams role. Ernest Johnson, he also is on the Patriots. And we also have a ton of connections to Mandarin and Jacksonville. There are 3 players from Mandarin, or 2 players and 1 coach that have connections to the Mandarin Mustangs program, also on the Patriots. So I would say rooting interest in Northeast Florida, at least individually, would be on the Patriots side. But it stops right there for me in Super Bowl 60. We will be right back on the Brent and Austin Show here on a Tuesday.
Most of us know how to throw. but you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to easily access Action News Jax Now using your Roku device. First, launch Roku. Next, use the menu list to scroll down to the search feature. Then, use the remote to enter Action News Jax into the search bar, and then click Action News Jax thumbnail. Once you see this screen, go ahead and select Add App. Wait a few seconds for it to install. Once it finishes installing, press the star button on your remote and click on Move App or Move App to the top. Finally, select the app back on your home screen to open it. Now you can watch all the great content on Action News Jax Now. Live daily breaking news.
We have breaking news happening right now in Clay County.
First alert weather and traffic.
Looks like we have a tornado warning. Let's take a look at that.
Action Sports Jax 24/7.
We've got the Brent and Austen Show daily, live sporting events, and long-form interviews you can't see anywhere else.
And shows like Law and Crime and much more. And that's how you access Action News Jax Now using your Roku device.
If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. When you hear that, you think Bono's Pit Barbecue, a staple in Northeast Florida now for 75 years. A place that feels like home with friendly service, a meeting place for friends, family, or business occasions. On the menu, the corn nuggets are a favorite in our house, but there's something for everyone. Sandwiches, platters, salads, sides, desserts, and family feasts. You see Bono's all over the place in Northeast Florida. You know, there are almost 20 locations in the Jacksonville area now, so stop on by, sit down, and dine in with Bono's. You can also take it to go. There are drive-thrus in many of the locations, and they have delivery options too. Just download the Bono's app to make things easy. I signed up for the loyalty program, and you can too, to get special offers. If Jacksonville is home, few things feel more Jacksonville than Bono's Pit Barbecue. Celebrate 75 years and many more to come. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jax 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
Hey guys, we got a new player today. I hear he's pretty good.
Heard this guy played in the NFL.
I think he's an MMA fighter. I've actually been on his show, the Brent and Austen show.
Football and fighting, that's the easy part. Let's see if I still have it on the ice. What the heck, man? Who is this guy? He's saving everything.
Leave the hockey to the pros, man. It's hockey season. Come on out and see the Icemen play. Get your tickets at jacksonvilleicemen.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
There's a look at the baseball stadium. I actually walked over there yesterday at the University of North Florida and Dusty Rhodes Field, and they are putting that turf down. It looks good. It's even further along than that. So love what they're doing over there. It's going to look sharp, and baseball season is here. Already started with FSCJ, a couple games this past weekend, softball as well. I think EWU gets going this weekend, and then high school preseason is next week, I think it is. And Division I will go in the middle of February, but all turf field going in, and that's going to be a big deal for the University of North Florida. It already looks real sharp over there, and help our buddy Corey Levine out with all the maintenance he has. Plus, they'll bring in some other events because of that field. So love what they're doing. I know, Kasey, you were a baseball guy. Did you care about playing on the turf? You get used to it? Or is it just more common now? Because it seems like so many fields are turf fields, even in baseball, that it's not as like, oh, look, we're playing on turf. When I was playing, it was like, if you played on a turf field, that was like a once in almost like a lifetime thing.
Yeah, dog. So back in my day, we didn't have as much turf either. I remember we played, it started to be a yearly thing, but the first time we played at Pirate City, which is the Pirates spring training like facility. It's where they do FCL and all that. It's not where they play their spring training games, but it's where their camp is. They had put in turf, and that was a big deal when we played there for the first time. Then we did it a couple more times. But that was a big deal. And then when we played in the Trop, it was a big deal, but more so because we were.
Yeah.
But I didn't play on turf a ton. Like we did there, and then I guess we did at the end at like Perfect Game because I think Fort Myers is turf. I don't remember. But
yeah,
there was definitely some turf there at the end for Perfect Game and whatnot. But originally when we did Pirate City, I remember it was a bit, we thought it was a big deal.
Hamby, how about you? You care about the turf? You like the turf? Does it matter?
I'm not a huge fan of it just because, I mean, I get that it's like perfect tops and all that stuff, but as a coach who deals with players who, for some reason at this point, I don't know if this is just us or is a renowned thing that's happening, but we're late to get the glove down. And so when it's turf, it doesn't do us any favors. When that ball can skip on you, it's not great. And then the old Texas leaguer that becomes a triple because it bounces over the head of your outfielder is no fun either. That one will make you the ground.
Stomp on it a few times.
So we practice on a regular field and then play on turf.
That kind of sucks.
At least one more year. Oh,
yeah, that's a bummer. Because I mean, first off, we were not lucky enough to practice on turf nor play on turf at. So, but that would be frustrating for sure because our high school field. So our high school field was. It was a mess is the point of the story. And you would get just a boulder in the middle of the infield at times in the dirt, and you would get some gnarly hops. We had kids taking balls off the face constantly. Oh, yes. Just getting screamed at. It was a debacle. It was actually it's a terrible memory in my mind. I hate that I brought it up. But it was grass, but crappy grass up until the dirt, and then the pitcher's mound was like its own thing. I don't know. It was a real mess. But the point I'm trying to make there is if we would have practiced on a different field and then played on that field, it would have been just a mess because of how crappy that. So I can understand the pain that your kids are going.
Yeah.
Maybe you should be nicer to them. That's the problem.
Maybe. All right. I wanted to pause that conversation briefly for some breaking news just in that the Bills have solved their head coaching search. Obviously, they filed McDermott after a playoff loss in the divisional round. We all know the story. Mm-hmm. They have decided to promote from within and give the job to one OC, Joe Brady. So instant results for the Jaguars and ripple effects there. Grant Udinski will be staying here in Jacksonville. Obviously, he was in the running in Buffalo. And, I don't think necessarily about a week ago that we thought Grant necessarily had the best of shots in Buffalo. But I think in the last 24 hours that a lot of people would say that, well, I think Grant was very much so in the running there. But now don't have to worry about that. Brady now gets his first head coaching opportunity in the NFL. Obviously, the same thing that Udinski was looking for, and that's that. So now the Jags only will have to worry about Anthony Campanile in Arizona.
Yep.
The only interesting thing is, like we've said yesterday, is that there seemed to be this the three-headed monster, or three final candidates, or at least leading candidates, was Weaver and Campanile, and it was another defensive mind.
Joseph.
Yeah, right. Yep. Vance Joseph. But then I think a lot of people are saying that LaFleur is now the leading candidate, at least as an offensive guy in Arizona. So, I think as teams kind of trickled out of the playoffs, and a lot of this has to do with, the Rams are now out, so they're coordinators, and that was kind of one of the last pieces with the Browns that still hasn't been solved with Shieldhouse, and that Schwartz is a whole nother thing. But initially, when we said, man, okay, Udinski's got 2 interviews, boom, Bills, Browns, and then Campanile is Dolphins, and then he goes interviews with the Ravens, and then once he gets the third one in Arizona, I think I had pretty much chalked him up, honestly. It's just me. Not that, what do I know? But
not a damn thing.
Right. But with the Arizona being, of the 10 head coaching vacancies, where are they on that pecking order? They're not choosing one of the top 5 candidates.
No, definitely.
They're going to have to go through that 5 to 15 range. And it's got to be somebody who really solves, I think, which from my vantage point was one of their bigger issues, which was player relatability. Well, I'm sure a lot of these candidates are very relatable to players. I don't think you're going to find one that's more relatable to players and a better players coach than Campanile was, and bigger cultural guy than Campanile is, at least was in Jacksonville last year. So, I was concerned for sure. Not out of the water yet. LaFleur being the leading candidate from reports seems to help, but at least we don't have to worry about the offensive coordinator. Welcome back, Brent Martineau.
Yeah, I'm an idiot, by the way. I just keep forgetting to hit the brake on my GMC Sierra to keep the power on, and that's it. And then once the power goes off, I got to reconnect. So my bad. All on me. I just get so locked in, having so much fun. I forgot to hit the damn brake. Keep this thing on for 15 more minutes.
We'll start hitting the brake because I'm going to have to go. But real quick, I know this isn't a Bills thing. Good for Joe Brady. He should have been their head coach. That should have been the move that they made. He should have been a head coach a long time ago, whether it be in college or in the NFL. So I like the dude. I'm not rooting for the Bills to win, but I do hope it works out for him because I thought this was a long time coming. But Jags related, obviously, good news.
Yeah, it's good news there. And so Udinski gets a pay raise. Campanile, I think they're working on a pay raise. So these guys are going to make out. And listen, this is a big deal. I think we've been talking about it, and so, hey, are they going to go? And Campanile might still go. I still think Campanile ends up back in Jacksonville, but we'll see what happens there. And I think the beauty is that they got guys that people want. That's a big thing. That's a big thing. They look like they got their right guy, and I just think the most underrated storyline this year, and I understand why. It's not this like big sexy topic, but it's the fact that Baselli, Gladstone, Cohen, first-time guys in those positions, seemingly delivered and have this thing on the right track, boom, instantaneously. And they had to clean up a pretty good mess back in January of last year. And then on top of that, Cohen, who I think this is one of the reasons Udinski, we talked about yesterday, have trouble putting together a staff. Does he have enough contacts? Does he have enough people that he wants on his own staff? Can you find enough of those folks? Cohen had a great plan, and it looks like he nailed it. He nailed it. Anthony Campanile and Udinski, and however he got those guys to come on board. And the rest of the staff has been really good, too. I think the offensive line, the coach did a nice job. I think, obviously, they made a move in the secondary already. Hard to tell, but you got to give credit to a lot of that defensive staff that got players playing to their best ability this season compared to other seasons, like Devin Lloyd. So really a lot to like about the staff that he put together. And I don't think that's an easy thing to do. I think you go back when Gus Bradley got hired, I always say the biggest mistake he made as a first-time head coach, there were a couple of big mistakes he made early in hindsight. And one of them was he didn't get the right offensive coordinator. He hired Jed Fish. It doesn't mean Jed Fish is a bad coach. He's actually turned into a pretty good one, but the fit didn't work. And so when he had to make a change, it became a revolving door, and you never got the offense having continuity under Blake Bortles and getting it right. It was his big mistake. The other big mistake Gus made was, if you're a defensive guy, you should make your defense as good as possible right away, and instead of waiting. And they waited to get the defense investments in for like 3 years. So those are the two huge mistakes. So Cohen, he nailed it, man. He's an offensive guy. He went and got the defensive coordinator, and he didn't necessarily go get the guy with the best resume who's going to be like, wow, look what he's done before. That wasn't Campanile. He went and got the guy this franchise needed the most, and this was player relationships. They needed a guy that really wanted to be in the foxhole with them, and it seems like it worked. And by the way, he's pretty damn good at the X's and O's too. I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm just saying the resume would have said, go get XYZ, because they've got experience and you're an inexperienced first-year coach. He took a gamble getting a first-year DC in the NFL because of different traits. That's a guy that's got feel. It's worked. Will it work for the next 3 years combined? Who knows? Hey, look at Todd Monken last year. Interviews for the Jags head coaching job. I know he's now interviewing for the Browns, but the point is he fell out of favor in a year's time with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, it looked like.
Right.
So
Crazy.
It changes real fast in the NFL. I don't know if we're going to be talking about Camp and Udinski this way next year. But the bottom line is, in year one, they got it right. And it looks like, I feel like they're going to get them back. And the continuity there could be really important. And hopefully they do it again, and those guys do get head jobs next year. And then you have to replace it, because I think people want to see those guys go get head jobs. I just think selfishly, you also want to see, what does this look like running it back with this just about the same crew, trying to evolve their offense and defense another year and build off what just took place. So it's a fascinating conversation to me that these first timers were able to deliver in so many different aspects here in Jacksonville. And we'll see if they can do it again. Hey, before we let you go, Kasey,
Yep.
we kind of one of the topics I had, we'll get to it probably in this noon hour. And I know Hamby knows a bunch about it. We're down in obviously Orlando. And what is your take of Orlando as a sports town, a sports city? They obviously have the Magic. The UCF has the spring training used to be a thing here in Orlando, not really anymore, right? Soccer has become a thing in Orlando, done very well. Soccer has done very well here in O-Town. Is that what they call it? In O-Town? I don't know.
Yeah, I believe so.
So how do you view it? Do you seriously view it as a bad sports city? It's a destination city. It hosts a lot of events, kind of like Indianapolis does in that regard. What do you think?
I would think for a city that, has all the theme parks and all the people that come there would be more of a sports presence. And like, I like the Magic, watch the Magic tonight. Very relevant. I hate to say, right? If you were better, that'd be great. But to not have anything else is surprising, because UCF, sorry, Hamby, relevant. Trash. I'll go trash. So yeah, I mean, I don't think I like Orlando City as well, by the way. Fun time at the games. But again, for the size of the city, the amount of people that go there and all the stuff that happens in Orlando, you would think that there would be more sports presence.
Yeah, I think real quick, and I'll just give my quick rebuttal to that. I think UCF is really not, and I hate to do this, like, it's Orlando, but it's not, and because it's so like.
It is. I agree with this.
To
this
go
is a good
to
point.
Disney from campus is an hour.
Yes,
like,
it
it's
is.
legitimately an hour. And it's not just because of traffic. So the weird thing about UCF in Orlando is a lot of the people in Orlando, the West Orlando, which is, a lot of people live on that side near the theme parks, they're not UCF fans. They're not. So I don't know how much you can crumple it in. Orlando is not a sports town because they're not big into UCF. I don't know if that really works. I really don't. That would almost be to me. It's almost similar to be like everybody in Atlanta is not a Georgia fan. Like, it's about the same distance. At least it feels like that. And they certainly have a lot of people that way, and obviously it's a totally different school and legacy and all that stuff. But to say that Orlando and UCF, because they don't necessarily mix and and UCF's not like super relevant, I don't know if that's really indicative of Orlando. I think there's opportunity there. Maybe it's just UCF hasn't done a great job of tapping into it 45 miles away.
It isn't a bad spot.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, and they've grown, by the way, too. This is like UCF has grown so much in the last 15 years, 10, 15 years. We might not see the ripple of that for another 10, 15, 20 years.
Right.
That all those folks that grew up went to UCF. Now you're still flooded with Gator fans, primarily, I would think, in Orlando, and also just fans of other colleges like Michigan, Ohio State, because they're transports, right? It's a transient place, much like every city in Florida. But it's just fascinating to me, guys, as we say goodbye to Kasey, that I think of Tampa as you think of sports towns, and you think people will mention Tampa, they'll mention Miami. And I do think we mention, I don't know if it's because we live in Jacksonville, but I think because the NFL is so big, we mention Jacksonville, right? It's on the map. Mm-hmm. Orlando, I know they have the magic, but I don't really think there's a wide population outside of Florida that views Orlando as like a sports town, because it's so entrenched as a destination market for whether it's the theme parks or bowl games and events like that and PGA shows. And heck, if anything, it might feel like a golf town, right?
I was just going to say that,
Palmer or something else.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, man. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, dog.
Safe travels to Orlando.
Maybe I'll see you down there.
Maybe you will.
Hey, if you want to work tonight, hit me up.
All right. I didn't go deep into Orlando, by the way. We're on like the Lake Mary side, which doesn't even feel like you're getting into Orlando.
Slide by the airport. I'll hook you up. Cold, hard cash, my guy.
I don't want to deal with that airport now. That airport's a pain in the ass. Yeah, like you got to get there like 3 hours before a flight kind of pain.
Good thing I'm
Go
not
to
flying.
Sanford instead. Sanford's much better. All right, man. Appreciate it. Kasey Kuhrts out. Olivia Tasley's going to join us in a little bit. We shuffle people in and out, and looks like Grant Udinski and Anthony Campanile are hanging around in Jacksonville. I do want to stay on the Orlando topic a little bit. Again, Hamby has pretty good ties, if you will, to Orlando, even though UCF's not right downtown. And I'm thinking about the Jags going there. What's the impact? Also, could Orlando get another franchise at some point in another sport? Because there's certainly a big enough city to be able to host it and do that. Will they ever get one? Or is it just going to be the Magic and obviously soccer? But I'm thinking the NFL doesn't look like they can go there with Tampa and Jacksonville. Doesn't look like the NFL's expanding in the States anytime soon. Hockey would be the only one, along with baseball, where they've made a pitch for baseball. So will it ever happen? Or is it always going to be viewed as a magic town with destinations for bowl games, golf, and other things? Might just be the way it is. I don't think that's a bad thing. Just kind of curious about how people feel about the landscape of the city of Orlando when it comes to sports. We'll be back. Brent and Austen Show. Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. Club 904 coming up at 1 o'clock. And then at 2, Talon Talk. We'll have Cameron Oriole and Bobby Kennan on the show, plus the new volleyball coach at UNF. So hang with us on the network, actionsportsjax.com, all afternoon.
Choose your own adventure. It's not just a saying, but a way of life here at Cycles of Jacksonville. And whether it's 2 wheels or 4 wheels, at Cycles of Jacksonville, a great adventure awaits. With brands like Honda, Vespa, Segway, and Triumph, Cycles of Jacksonville has you covered with their inventory featuring a 60,000 square foot building. If 4 wheels is more your thing, check out the largest selection of Honda Talons in the entire county. No matter what you're looking for, Cycles of Jacksonville is going to have the selection you need, all with great financing and rebates. Plus, if you're active duty military, Cycles of Jacksonville will offer you 0% financing along with great discounts for military and first responders. And when you want to get off the road and set sail, Cycles of Jacksonville has you covered with everything you need to get on the water. So if you're ready for a great adventure, let Cycles of Jacksonville be your guide. Located off Atlantic Boulevard, or check out their website at cyclesofjacksonville.com.
How do we make Mason's famous lobster rolls? It's simple. We get up before dawn, head into the open waters of Maine, haul in our traps by hand, and send only the best straight to our restaurants. where we add warm butter or chilled mayo with a squeeze of lemon and pile it on a toasted split-top roll, just like it's been done for nearly a century. That's the recipe for Mason's famous lobster rolls.
Thanks for meeting me here.
Okay.
You're my only lawyer friend, and I need your professional opinion.
Okay.
You see that brand new Hyundai Tucson out there?
Yeah.
That's all I paid for it. Do you know what you want?
Yeah. I think I do.
Enjoy your new car.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Deal so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Lease a Hyundai Tucson for $259 a month, or get 2.99% APR, or get $1,750 bonus cash. Hurry in.
Grab some friends and go to a restaurant or head out for a drink and some conversation. Watch your favorite team play on the big screen. Or how about play some games? You can do all of that in one night at Best Bet.
Each location has a different vibe, its own personality, like here at the original Best Bet in Orange Park. When you walk through these doors, everybody knows your name. And here in St. Augustine, it's the newest location. Play some poker. How about the table games? And don't forget about Ace's Sports Bar and Grill. And then there's the Jacksonville location right here on Monument Road. It's the biggest poker room in the state of Florida. Maybe you'll find yourself a seat right here at the final table.
Best Bet, where you can have the best of times. And that makes you always go home a winner. Try any of the 3 locations, and you can always visit bestbetjacks.com.
Year 2 is in the books for the Jacksonville Armada women's under-23 squad, taking another step forward in the Women's Premier Soccer League. Under the guidance of head coach David Goff, the girls in blue went undefeated at home for a second straight season, including a dramatic draw in the opener.
And they've left it to the death. Unbelievable stuff.
And a late winner to end the season at home.
Headed on. Here's a chance. Gianna Ramirez brings it down, still alive, takes a shot, and into the back of the net.
After fielding a younger roster in 2025 with talent from all across Northeast Florida, the future is bright for the Armada women's team. We highlight the ladies and all things Jacksonville Armada each week on Fleet and Footy on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
I'll put one in the back of the net for you.
Join us for player profiles, fun interviews, and the very latest on the Fleet and all things footy. That's every Thursday at 2 p.m.
Baker's Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University.
Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School.
Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker's Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oakleaf High School.
Tony Mazzio, Stanwood High School, class of 2002.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Jacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School.
Reagan Webb, Eagles View Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Joe Brady is the new head coach of the Buffalo Bills, and he gets promoted. It was a big turn for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills when a couple of years ago there was a lot of discourse about McDermott and what was going on there, some toxicity inside the Buffalo organization. There are articles about what was going on. I think that's why we've seen some coaches and even players want to get out of Buffalo a couple of years ago. And they made the move to Brady as the OC, and it really changed the season. That was mid-season. Got their offense going, and then they evolved into the running game to help Josh Allen out. He doesn't turn it over as much, so Brady gets a lot of credit. And Joe Brady is going to be the next head coach of the Buffalo Bills. And the domino effect is for Grant Udinski here in Jacksonville, because now he's out of that job. He interviewed for the Bills job, also for the Browns job, took himself out of the running, and the Browns won. Obviously, Brady bumps him out of the running for the Bills job. And now back to Jacksonville for Grant Udinski for a second year in a row as a coveted young up-and-coming head coach candidate. And we knew that when the Jags signed him. This guy is a rising star, and it's pretty cool that he's lived up to that as well. And we'll see if he can continue to do that. And when is the time going to be right for Grant Udinski? It wasn't this time around. Brent Martineau, Jason Hamby, Brent and Austen Show, Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. We continue to shuffle things around. Olivia Tassley will join us for Liv's List coming up at the bottom of the hour as well. And we're sitting here in the old GMC Sierra doing the show, having some fun. I think as long as I had hit the brake and kept this car on, this thing would have been fine. Hamby is what I was just telling Steph, said it would have been fine. But the problem is I'm not very coordinated. So like, you know how like can you play the piano? Because you're a music guy, right?
Yep.
Can you use the foot pedals while you play the piano?
Of course, you can't play it without it.
Hell yeah, you can play it without it.
No,
I used to
you
take
can't.
piano lessons as a kid, like for a little bit, and I didn't use the foot pedals. I would
Then
never
it
been able to
sounded
do that.
terrible.
Oh, probably did sound terrible. Sounded terrible because I was playing it. I was awful. But and the Russian piano teacher that I had was she's brutal.
Yeah,
It was
wasn't worth the money for her.
But anyway, I couldn't do the pedal. That's not coordinated enough. And so even
what do you think? Drums is worse. You got two hands.
That's why
hitting...
I couldn't drum either, man. Like I couldn't even do a drum roll. I got basically kicked out of the band after 7th grade.
Jeez. Brutal.
That's why I don't dance. Just ask Steph. Can't dance. Got no rhythm. Got no coordination.
Can you clap on 2 and 4?
Can I clap on 2 and 4? Probably not. Right? Probably not. Not
Dude,
well.
You can't clap on 2 and 4?
Yeah, I don't know if I've really tried.
Well, I mean, anytime you clap to a song, you should be like as long as it's in 4/4.
Oh yeah, I'm not good at that. When everybody else is clapping, yeah, not good. Not good at that.
Dude, it's.
Are you born with that stuff?
No.
My whole family's like musicians too, which is great. Well, not my whole family, but we have some musical talent. That
To graduate high school, if I ever was in any type of political office, which please no, one of my first rules, if at all possible, would be to graduate with a high school diploma. You've got to be able to clap on 2 and 4.
Well,
You could pick your song. You could pick your song. But if you can't clap on 2 and 4, nope. Better luck next time.
Well, let's just say if
you shouldn't be able to get your driver's license without clapping on 2 and 4. Nothing.
Let's just say your test might not be the most accurate then, because I'm approaching 50, feel like I've done okay. Like I'm not some like superstar of life, but I feel like I've made it okay through this stage, at least up until about 50.
And yet,
if I can't clap on 2 and 4, I wouldn't have graduated high school. So I'm not really sure that should be the test.
Well, it should almost be you have done well in life, despite the fact that you can't do one of the most human elementary tasks, which is to clap on beat.
Yeah, like I find myself, I know what you're talking about, and I'm not a big participation guy in any of those settings anyway. Like I go to a concert and I'm not sitting there and dancing and clapping and all the rest. But
no,
I
I
know
get
what you're
that. I can
talking
understand
about,
that.
and I'm just consuming, and that's it. But well, music and maybe some other things. But
dude, of all, and you're a country guy. I know I've cut you off like 3 times here because I'm baffled. If you go, who's the guy that you saw with mom at the Sphere?
Oh, Garth.
Was it Garth?
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, that's like we're stomping the heel, at least toe tapping. Are we toe tapping out on beat?
Yeah, I can toe tap a little bit, but the reason why I think I toe tap is because nobody can tell if I'm on beat or off.
Well, I get that, but dude, I get it. The participation, you don't have to sing the song while you're at the concert, because at the end of the day, you're paying to listen to him sing the song. So I get that. If you want to sing the song. But you're going to tell me you went to a Garth Brooks song and you weren't like clapping like along?
No.
I mean, is it arms folded? Are you videoing? What are you doing with your hands? Are they in a cold beer?
In my pocket, drink. Yeah, like not clapping. I don't think I ever clapped at the Garth Brooks concert. Don't think so. Steph shaking her head, no. So, yeah, I'll sing. I will sing. Like I know Garth singing, but I'll sing along. especially if there's like not every word and belt it out loud, but there are some that you really want to get into, especially in that setting. Nobody knows who the hell you are. Don't have to worry about that. But
not that should deter you either way, but okay.
Well, it does. That would deter me, like if I was at Daly's place doing it, because then people would see how much I don't have any rhythm. Is a rhythm? Is it a learned thing or a like you got to have some?
I think it could be both. I mean, there are plenty of people who've never played a note who can clap on 2 and 4.
Yeah, but I've kind of, I would think you'd be able to learn. Like if I went and took classes on stuff, I'd obviously get better at it.
I think I could, within the hour, I would be able to help you with that for sure.
Yeah. I don't plan on doing that, but I'm more thinking like, you ever done like the workout videos? You ever do that, like a YouTube video or something like that? You probably don't do that.
Those were really popular back in the day. I know my mom used to do them.
Yeah, so like we've done them before. Or we'll do like even now, like 20 minutes, get something in instead of going to the gym. I'm not like go to the gym guy, but get a little cardio workout in or something like that. And then a lot of them have like it's almost like you're in dance class.
Yeah, you're doing it to the
That's
beat.
dangerous, man. That is dangerous for me. Like if I were to do that in a public setting, it would be embarrassing. I mean, Steph's laughing at me half the time that I'm doing it. Like that's real life.
Dude, just go pick up some weights and put them back down. You're better off.
Gotta get some Tybo in, man.
Hat tip to you.
Yeah, well, whatever works. Like whatever you got to get in.
I get
the
it.
faster, the better. Is where I'm at it. Hey, one more. This really didn't evolve much as much as I thought it might. The whole Orlando thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they ever get anything else? Will they get a baseball team? Because I don't think they can get football. Hockey seems like I feel like it's going to come to Jacksonville before Orlando, but they do have an ECHL team.
Right.
And I don't know if it's too close to Tampa with the Lightning. I don't know how that works in terms of the mileage, but I know like Jacksonville can't get an NBA team because of like the proximity to Orlando. So I would suspect that hockey might be hard for Orlando to get. So it really leaves baseball is what I'm getting at. Like from a big sports standpoint, well, do you think they'll ever have a Major League Baseball team in Orlando? A place that used to be home of the Braves, of course, for Disney. And now doesn't even have spring training. They don't even have spring training in Orlando. And that's more Major League Baseball. They've kind of migrated south to both coasts and put all the complexes together from a travel standpoint.
For sure.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's actually funny. I was reading, I think 2 days ago, that the Rays are working on getting a deal with the Hillsborough Community College because that's actually where they want to build their stadium. It's not in the heart of downtown Tampa, which a lot of people assumed that they would go to. Obviously, the Dream Finders guy, I believe Zalewski, and Ken Babby in this article that I was reading had commented as well. So they're actually working with the community college on putting it right there, right next to the campus. And from what I read, if that were not to pass, Orlando would be the only other option for them. Like they would go Orlando before, right in the heart of downtown or staying in St. Petersburg. Like they're not staying in St. Petersburg no matter what. So I don't know if this is like Orlando's at 3% chance and everything else is 1.5% because, the deal that they have in place for Hillsborough is 95%. But that I think was at least notable for me, obviously with the, I think $1.5 billion that Orlando has like promised funded. I don't know the term for that in the finance world. But they've at least raised that in pledges, I guess what you would say, for the Dreamers. And, Barry Larkin and all those guys are involved in that. I don't know. I don't necessarily believe that Orlando would be great for baseball. I think Orlando gets a bad rap for being a non-sports town because people really don't realize specifically, especially not in Florida, how residential it is all over the place. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's just
high school sports, by the way. The
unbelievable high school sports, and there's just people everywhere. There's so many pockets of town within Orlando that the right thing, it would work. And so it's not like nothing would work. It's just that Well, really, the NBA hasn't worked. And so just because the NBA doesn't work in a town doesn't mean it's not a sports town. That being said, I don't know if baseball would work either. I mean, I only lived there for.
So is that the story? Like NBA hasn't worked? I mean, it's not like they're moving out or anything. I mean,
Well, no, but I mean, well, you said it, and Kasey said it yourself. Like I mean, a lot of that is just the Magic haven't been great.
Yeah.
But they're not. I mean, they're a top 10 fan or a bottom 10 fan base. So again, that doesn't mean that it hasn't worked, but relative to other teams and what you would like for I mean, seriously, how many people are there? And it could get to a game if they wanted to. It's not great.
Yeah, Orlando in many respects is like trying to comp it. It's got a little. It's it's gonna be a weird cross. Okay, it's a cross to me between Las Vegas and West Palm Beach. And so what I mean by that is it's got the destination feel of Vegas, where like you go for the weekend and get out, or go for a week and go to Disney and go to, and you don't want to put up with all the traffic and everything else that goes along with it. Although I will say this, the I-4 stuff that they've done is way better. I mean, we travel it quite a bit, and it is way better than it was like 5 years ago, 10 years ago to travel through. And I think it's even getting better on the other side of Orlando as they continue to build over there with toll roads and things like that. It took a while, but it definitely helped for sure. So the Vegas side is the destination with Disney and the parks, and it's a big city. It's in Florida, so people come down to vacation, all those things. The West Palm Beach side of it is it just feels built, because maybe of the residential stuff that you're saying is built more like charity golf tournaments and tennis matches and pickleball and things like that, than actually having like a core pro franchise in it. Now, I don't know, because I don't spend a lot of time in Orlando, so I don't know how the Magic are viewed. I do think part of the problem is they haven't been good. So kind of like our city, we can feel a definitive difference when the Jags last year were playing versus what they were this year in December and even January. I mean, the place is on fire. If the Magic, who are getting better, by the way, way more relevant and way more reasons to go watch them and root for them and wear their shirts around town, if they get good and become like, make a playoff run, will this place catch on fire? I don't know the landscape of it enough to know. I don't know if people are invested that much, or like, again, other Florida places or even Arizona, the transient nature doesn't have people like, they're not bleeding Magic in their blood. Instead, they're like, hey, cool, we got a team to root for. Like, that's the way it goes in places like Florida and Arizona. So it's so for that purpose, I didn't know that the whole Rays thing could potentially land in Orlando. Let's assume the Rays don't land in Orlando. The opportunity to get another franchise and saying, hey, let's go to Orlando, I don't think would be very high on the list. So I think they're going to have the Magic. I think they're going to have soccer. I think they're going to have golf. I think they're going to have bowl games. And I don't really see it in 20 years changing that much. I still believe if the NHL expands, Jacksonville is a viable place for the NHL to come to. One, because it's farther enough away from both Miami and Tampa from a logistics standpoint, or at least a rules standpoint. And two, because look what the Icemen do. The Icemen get 7, 8, 10,000 sometimes in there. You only need 7 or 8 more to get to capacity at an arena, and you only have 40 dates to do it. It just makes sense. I think Jacksonville certainly could be a player in the next 10 or 15 years, and I've said that for the last 5 or 10 years. If there's one sport that they get, it would probably be an NHL team, and I think the Icemen are kind of proving that right now. And interestingly enough, when you have the Zalupskis of the world and the Babbies who take, from Zalupski's standpoint, their business model, they're like his business, Dreamfinders, and Babby, who buys the minor league organization, and now they move on to the major league level. It kind of makes you wonder what Andy Kaufman and Zoyer Sports and what they potentially can do. They're playing around in the minor league sports world, but could they eventually play in the NHL type arena? And I think maybe a little bit of the blueprint with Zalupski and Babby could already be there sometime down the road. I don't know if that's the case in Orlando. I think there are people that want it to happen. I just don't see it happening. But I think a lot of people would listen to me just talk over the last 3, 4, 5 minutes and say, yeah, I don't see that happening in Jacksonville either. I mean, I think sometimes you just have to live there and feel it to really know it.
Right.
or get a good vibe. And
Yeah.
and I don't think outsiders would say, yeah, NHL's coming to Jacksonville, you know?
Yeah, I think I could go two ways here, and I'm interested. Part of me is wondering, well, could any expansion team, like, what is the level of success in a major four sport? Like, it's going to be ruthless because everybody in Orlando's got another team. If they were to get a football team, it would be terrible for a long time. Like, people would go once a year when their team plays away in Orlando. Like, at what level? Like, I don't understand, truthfully, what is the level of success that people will expect from an expansion, or if just a team moves? Like Vegas. Now, I don't know how. That's like the only one that ever made sense to me, is because, you know, and even that one, like, what in 10 years. Will it have lived up to the hype of what it, you know, just because they were trying to get, that wasn't even as much as we want to get to Vegas, I thought, as we got to get away from Oakland and we got to get out of the Coliseum. And we're out of options in the city and the government, like all that stuff. So it's just tough.
Yeah, I think you're right. I do think that's hard. It's hard to get ownership of a team. I mean, you know, when they move a baseball team or move the Seattle Supersonics or the Montreal Expos, like, a new town gets behind it, Oklahoma City, Washington in this instance. But sooner or later you fall off. Like, the Expos fans aren't Nationals fans, right?
Right.
I don't know. It's just the opposite effect. Everybody here, like in Jacksonville, we experience it. That a lot of people are Giants fans, Patriots fans, Steelers fans, and also Jags fans because they want to see it do well. It's community type of driven thing. It's a smaller town, like all those things. But do they bleed it? Probably not. You'd almost need like this new formation. So when you're talking like that, I'd say, what if the Savannah Bananas, who do so well, end up making a league out of it, right? And so you've got Savannah, but now you have another team in Orlando, and you have another team in Las Vegas, and you have another. So now you have like an 8-team Savannah Banana kind of league, right? And now you have something new that anybody, it doesn't matter where you came from, you're living in Orlando now, and that's your team. But you almost need that kind of thing to happen. I think that's why they were successful with the soccer, because soccer was like that. Like soccer, who else? It didn't matter if you came from Michigan or if you lived in Florida. You probably didn't have an affiliation to a soccer team.
Which they also did great because of all the Latin American team or presence in Central Florida. But your point is 100% stands.
You can get behind it, right? And it feels like yours. I think places in Florida and Arizona and even Vegas probably to some degree, have a hard time feeling like, hey, this is ours, or you just get enough people to transition over time. And it takes a lot of time to become rooted that way, you know. But I've said it a couple times already, man, like, I don't think there's any problem with being a destination host for sporting events, from golf to bowl games. And I mean, who knows? We just had the conversation last couple of days. I don't think we were for it, but neutral site AFC, NFC championship games. Like, we don't think it's going to happen. I don't really think it should happen.
Right.
But places like Orlando, maybe you're in play for something like that at some point down the road because of it. So, one other element here is I wonder how much Orlando will benefit from the Jags being down there in 2027.
Yeah, that's what I want to take.
What is the win for them, you know?
Well, I don't know what necessarily the win is for Orlando, but I think that it's going to be huge for the Jags, truthfully. I
do too.
I think Orlando is going to love having the Jags there and get ready for a lot bigger of a fan base. There are so many, like, again, the residential that people don't think about, the amount of families that are in Orlando, it's insane. The amount of kids it's insane. And the fact that you have Travis Hunter in a year like 2027, who hopefully will be playing a full season, and a good Jags team, which we would be shocked at this point if they were not good or at least competitive. You know, who knows? We would hope they'd be in the playoffs. You have so much to gain, especially on the north side of Orlando, where people are thinking, well, look, I mean, if I get on the highway on a Sunday morning the next couple of years to get up to that brand new stadium, I can get there in an hour 45. It's not going to take me 3 hours. I could wake up at 9 o'clock, leave the house at 9 o'clock, and get to this new Stadium of the Future by 11, and in my seat by 11:30. I'm all in. I'm in on that. So I think it's the Jaguar fan base is got to grow. I would love to know the numbers and just how many that is, but I think it's going to be awesome.
I think you're right, by the way. I think there's a level of that. I really thought that if they were to play in Daytona or something, they would get that corridor that could really do the same thing. But I believe it can happen. And I know Jags fans don't care about that part, but I think the Jags from a business side probably do. If you could grow your fan base down to the eastern side of Orlando and tap into some of that, that's a big deal. That grows your market, if you will, and it grows your pool of season ticket people or just ticket people in general, potential sponsors all the way down 95 to the east side of Orlando that might have business in Jacksonville and Orlando. If everything aligns right, it'll be an interesting study, say in 10 years. What was the ripple effect of the 2027 season in Orlando? And maybe there's some good and bad, but there will be some good and bad. And I think a lot of it will depend on if things align. Are the Jags good? Does Travis Hunter have a big season? Does Trevor Lawrence have a big season? Is Tampa not so good? So people are like, screw Tampa, I'm going to root for Jacksonville, whatever it might be.
I don't know if we want those ones, but
just who knows, right? You just don't know. That's how it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it certainly can happen like that, especially if you're a young fan. Sure. And let's just say Tampa was good last year and you're 6 years old and you like Baker Mayfield. Well, guess what? By the time you're 9 and Trevor Lawrence and Travis Hunter are good, you like Travis Hunter and Trevor Lawrence now. You didn't know any better. Right. So, and you got to see them in person because they were in your backyard. Like, that's how it happens.
Yeah.
And I think that will be, we won't know for a while. I think they might know before us how much of an impact it had, but it'll be fun to watch. Hey, let's take a break. When we come back, Olivia will join us, Liv's List, and we'll put a bow on the show. We got Club 904 coming up at 1 o'clock with Mia O'Brien, 2 o'clock, Talent Talk, UNF Ospreys, Mia and Richard Miller will have that show for you here on a Tuesday. Oh, Liv looks so lonely there in the studio. And she will join us next. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing is taking their 75-plus years of expertise and expanding to CGC Home Services. Water treatment and plumbing is still a big part of what they do, and now they can do even more for you. Home services like kitchen and bathroom remodeling, showers, sinks, faucets, toilet repair, backflow testing, and the list keeps going. Find all they can do at cgchomeservices.com or give them a call, 904-298-7052. It's a new look and a new name with the same expertise. They've been serving homes like yours since 1946. CGC Home Services, right here in Jacksonville off St. John's Bluff Road, 904-298-7052. And visit cgchomeservices.com. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
We've been telling you about the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network for over a year now. How to find it, what to see. Simply put, it's TV online. Local sports content all day, every day. Just like this.
Did you always want to make history? Like, think that big, or just say, hey, I want to play in the NFL?
I always say I want to play in the NFL.
Cuts it back to her left side, takes a shot, and into the back of the net.
Oh, what a pass.
Oh, my goodness.
What a pass. Say he doesn't make a tackle. You still feel like his presence is felt in every single play.
I did have a sense that they wanted to be bold, that they wanted to make a splash.
It's content you won't find on TV. Find it on actionsportsjax.com and just sit back and watch local sports all day on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
It's one of the hot spots in the area.
Welcome you to String Sports Brewery out at the beach. Big crowd on hand tonight. The fans are here.
And now the newest hot spot at the beach is open. String Sports Brewery in Jax Beach has opened its doors with rave reviews.
We're going to be fans forever.
Cozy up to the bar, grab a seat in the sports-themed restaurant, or grab a seat outside and feel that breeze coming off the beach as the weather warms.
just like the original location in Springfield. Try the popular beer menu and come for lunch or dinner too, because the food is fantastic.
We got a special guest in the house. He's happy. He's feeling good. He's Trayvon Walker.
It's where we hosted Jags Report Live in the football season, and the String Sports Brewery staff can't wait to host you. Hey, welcome back here to String Sports Brewery. And if you haven't checked out the new location in Jags Beach, you got to do it. String Sports Brewery, now with 2 locations in Springfield and now open in Jags Beach on Penman Road.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jags PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
This has been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jags PAL.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick GMC. We are professional grade.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Brian Daboll is going to be the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. And listen, that's we'll see, right? We'll see how that goes for
unless
Tennessee.
he gets the head gig in Vegas.
Oh, is he up for the Vegas gig?
Yeah, it is contingent on that. Which
okay.
He's not. Doesn't seem to be at the very top of their board, but it's still a possibility.
That's, by the way, is this a new thing this year? Is that where the agents have gone? Like, hey, we'll sign these deals contingent on, because we saw it with Mike McDaniel. We just saw it with Udinski. But I don't feel like that's been a common thing in the past. Is that a 2026 thing?
I don't remember it being a thing. No. So maybe.
I mean, I get it. It makes some sense. You give the guy some freedom to be able to still compete for a head coaching gig or move up. But also lock your guy in, because the process takes so long. So this is probably pretty smart. So you can go get your guy and don't get left at the altar in these kind of situations. So Brian Daboll to Tennessee. Brent Martineau, Jason Hamby, Liv Tassley, Liv's List. We've had Kasey in, Austen in. We're talking Fight Camp, Doomsday, Orlando Sports, Udinski, Campanile, dancing, rhythm,
and Brent's
what is
lack
Liv
of.
going to bring us? Where else can this show go here today? Liv's going to take us somewhere. What's up, Liv?
Yeah, let's keep going with the coaching carousel talks here, because Steelers fans, welcome to the Mike McCarthy era. He will be introduced today at 2:00 as the Steelers' 4th head coach since 1969. Wouldn't that be nice to have? Hopefully Liam Cohen can start that trend here.
Yeah, that would be good. He could go for a long time. He's 39 years old when he got hired. I don't know if that's always a good thing, though, because the Steelers would argue with Tomlin for the last 5, 6, 7 years. There's been, okay, this might be stale. Is it time to move on? Appreciate the over 500 record, but can we go challenge for a Super Bowl? And I think a lot of people believe that was more for the people around or the players and get a quarterback or get some skill guys, whatever else it might be. But yeah, listen, around here, if Liam Cohen were to go for like what's a reasonable amount?
But 8 to
I mean, the
10
shelf
years?
life in the NFL is like 5. If you go 5 years in the NFL, like you've done a hell of a job, just to let everybody know. I mean, get past that 3 years, 4 years, get an extension, and you're like, hell yeah. That's what I would say. If Liam Cohen can get an extension, I think you'd feel really good. I mean, nobody's done that, I don't think, since Del Rio. Del Rio was here for a good amount of time after Coughlin was here for a good amount of time. The Jags had that working for a bit, a little bit of a Pittsburgh thing where they didn't have a ton of coaches. Well, I think they've had like 8 coaches in the last 15 years.
15,
I think it is, or something like that. So I think that might count interims, not sure, like Mel Tucker and stuff. But yeah, I would say an extension, meaning like 4+ years for Liam Cohen, and he goes into like his 7th season, and we start asking the question, man, is this good enough? Can we do better? Like, he hasn't won 2 Super Bowls. He's only, he got bowed out of the playoffs the last 2 years. Like, those would be great conversations to have around
do
here,
we
wouldn't it?
start getting greedy now? Like, okay, we've made the playoffs,
we'll
5
get
of
greedy.
these 7 years, and now it's like, okay, we want our 1st or 2nd Super Bowl now. Yeah, that'll
We'll
be a
get
great
greedy.
conversation to have. I will
Yeah, that would be good.
100% hop on board with that. The other part of this is now with McCarthy as the head coach, what does Aaron Rodgers do as he becomes a free agent this offseason? Is that a talk that he has that his coach is back from the Packers, or is he like, no, I'm out, I'm retiring?
Yeah, Austin and I kind of differ on the Austin kind of feels like there's a shot. I think it was Austin that was saying there's a shot, or he thinks there's a good chance that Rodgers will come back now. I don't. I think I don't really
he's
see this
done?
from Rodgers' point of view. I think Rodgers is done. Like, I would say he's done. He looked like he was done at the end of the year. I think he's over it. It's time to move. It might be time, by the way. He's going to be 43 years old. The other thing is, I really look at this from the lens of McCarthy. And I don't know what he said in his presser today, or is it coming up?
It's coming up at like 2 o'clock. It looked
Okay.
like.
But it'll be interesting to see how he handles it. Of course, he's going to probably play it down the middle. I just wouldn't want a 43. I don't want to start my Pittsburgh tenure with a 43-year-old Aaron Rodgers. I want to go get my guy that I can be here with for the next however many years. To me, this is the problem with Pittsburgh, is they're hanging on with guys like Rodgers, who definitely is not the quarterback that he used to be, and you're trying to find like a few weeks of glory. There's no way you can. I just don't think anybody would think right now that even if the Pittsburgh Steelers are pretty good or in position, that they're a Super Bowl contender with Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback. And I was a huge believer in Rodgers going to New York, that they could have been that, but that's like 4 years ago now. I don't think you can do that at his age, and I feel good about it. Now, Brady did it, but not everybody's going to do it. That was an outlier in a big way. So I would be stunned if twofold. One, I think Rodgers is retiring. And then the second part is I'd be stunned if really McCarthy wants him back, because I think I would just start over and go get my own guy.
Yeah, I think it definitely might have sparked interest, but at the same time, I do think Rodgers is out. He looked done. He looked washed at times, and I think like what you said, he's over it. All right, so how about this for the NFL? Barstool president is no longer banned from the NFL. Dave Portnoy is heading to the Super Bowl after not being able to, for a couple of years now, since Deflategate, I think it was his last NFL Super Bowl that he got to attend after a protest, and he got arrested during that protest for standing up for his guy and Tom Brady and his Patriots. So now he will be able to go see his Patriots possibly win their next Super Bowl.
Well, I don't really give a damn, first of all. And I didn't even know that. Like, I don't pay attention. Listen, the whole Barstool thing is, I think it's funny sometimes. I'm just not deep into the culture of the Barstool stuff, and really the Portnoy stuff. I don't even know. I'm sure some of it falls on a political spectrum of some sort. I know the pizza reviews, like I know them, but I don't pay attention to it day in, day out to really care, is what I'm getting at. So I do think it's interesting. Obviously, he did it because he knows how to market, and so that was a good marketing ploy years ago. I think it's interesting the NFL is allowing them back in because they don't need them.
No, 100%.
So if that is a thing, I didn't even know he's suspended or whatever, what that meant, but they're letting him back in as he did his time. They don't need him. Or has Barstool become such a big thing and that audience is important to the NFL that they were like, yeah, we need this back. Like if they suspend Brent, like they don't ever have to let me back in. But because of the scope of Portnoy and his audience and really probably the whole Barstool thing more than just him, maybe that's one of the reasons. Be interesting to see what the insight on that was. Whenever he got suspended, I'm sure they didn't say, well, you're suspended for 5 years, right?
Yeah, they didn't put a
years.
timeline on it. No.
Yeah. So where are people on Portnoy? Like, is he...
So he definitely grew his following after the whole foster dog situation. I don't know if you're aware of Miss Peaches and Pete the Beagle. So he grew a huge following off of that. And I think that reached out to a bigger audience because now people who love dogs, foster dogs, and that fostering community really latched on to, obviously, dogs. I mean, it's just like Peter with Kirk Herbstreit as well. People are reaching into those, and that obviously shot him up because now he's donating 100% proceeds and profits to all these foster organizations around the U.S. So I think he might be on the good now. I mean, obviously you follow him either because you follow Miss Peach's Instagram or you follow Dave or you follow both. So who knows where people stand with him, but I think he definitely grew a good following in the animal world.
Hamby, where is Portnoy on this? Like, is he, and does he fall on the political side of it? Why do I feel like he can be political sometimes? I don't know that.
Yeah, he normally always has a take on anything really big, politics, sports, entertainment. He always has a take, and people want to just hear what he has to say. I don't know. I keep scrolling.
So is it him though, or is it the Barstool brand? Because like he created it, right? That's his story.
Yeah. I mean, he's still huge.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good feel. Like, it is what it is. I mean, more power to him. Like, I don't have anything against him. I feel like I've seen him on the political realm, and if I see anybody on the political realm, I'm usually scrolling right by too.
Yeah.
With like super hard takes that, like, and if I know like you are on one side of the aisle or another, I kind of like, I really don't have time for it because then I'm not getting anything that might be an actual like observation, like a real one, a neutral one. So maybe that's why I kind of disregard. Maybe he was kind of hot and heavy during some of the election stuff, but
yeah,
plus I'm not really like on the Barstool gimmick. I know millions and millions and millions of people are though. So I respect the hell out of it. That is for sure. Would you say do you think he's bigger than ever? And where is he on the landscape of big? Like when you think of big sports people.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
He might have just forgot to turn his car. Keep
Press
his car
the gas
on.
pedal, Brent. Just
God.
like
You hate to see that.
you hate to see.
That's unreal.
Well, I don't know how Brent's take on. I mean, obviously, he just said he's indifferent about him. It feels like, but I think his following definitely grew with Miss Peaches. I don't know if that was just out of the good of his heart or another media stunt, and then he ended up falling in love with dogs. But I think it grew from that because all of a sudden, all my friends are following Miss Peaches and Dave Portnoy on Instagram and Twitter and all his actions with that.
Interesting.
All
right. We got like 3 more minutes.
3 minutes. Let's end it on a good note then. Let's go to my college stadium, Ray J, being turned into an ice rink.
You're a big fan of this.
I like it. It's the first time that a Florida stadium is hosting the stadium series for the NHL. I loved going to Lightning games. I think that thing is going to be packed. And what a better week to do it when Florida's going through this cold snap. I don't think they'll need many of those cooling devices. I mean, what's the temperature in Tampa this week? I have no idea, but
probably pretty much 30.
30s.
I would assume so. I mean, it's got to be pretty similar to what's going on right here.
So great on the weather gods for helping Tampa out with this. I think it's going to be fun. I would 100% go to watch an NHL game in a football stadium.
Yeah. Is this happening across the NHL?
So
what is Stadium Series?
The Stadium Series has been going on. This will be its 13th game, I believe. So since 2014. But it's the first time it's happening in Florida, obviously, because of the weather.
Right.
So it's been to like California. It's going to be the Lightning and the Bruins. They do it, I think, once a year at a stadium. Like next year, I think it's going to Dallas at AT&T Stadium, which obviously an indoor field is much easier to handle than an outdoor stadium in Florida.
Sure.
So yeah, I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be interesting to watch and see how many people hop. I mean, the Lightning fans are going to pack this thing out if the Bruins fans don't. I think.
No doubt.
I think it'll be cool. Would you go?
I would go.
Yeah.
I went to an Iceman game 2 weeks ago. It was a great time. I think I'm going in another couple weeks.
Yeah.
Those have been awesome. And I just wish the Iceman could play in Everbank.
Do we pitch the idea for the Stadium of the Future?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
If Ray J can do it, and Ray J might be the next stadium to get a renovation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, heck, why not, Shad Khan?
Keep
Keep growing. Let's go.
Absolutely. All right, Liv, appreciate it.
Be out.
That'll do it for us today.
Thanks,
Brent ends on a
everybody.
sour note, but we don't.
We ride the vibes high all the way into Club 904 coming
right.
up with Mia O'Brien.
That's right. Club 904 is next, 1 to 2 o'clock. Then we'll have Talent Talk, all things UNF athletics with head coach Bobby Kinnan, Cameron Oriole coming off a 35-point game with 15 assists. Big news coming out today, obviously. Joe Brady hired as the head coach in Buffalo, so Grant Udinski is on his way back with a new contract in Jacksonville. We'll have more for you tonight, Club 904, but also Action Sports Jacks on Fox 30 and CBS 47. Have a good Tuesday, everybody.
If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. When you hear that, you think Bono's Pit Barbecue, a staple in Northeast Florida now for 75 years. A place that feels like home with friendly service, a meeting place for friends, family, or business occasions. On the menu, the corn nuggets are a favorite in our house, but there's something for everyone. Sandwiches, platters, salads, sides, desserts, and family feasts. You see Bono's all over the place in Northeast Florida. You know, there are almost 20 locations in the Jacksonville area now, so stop on by, sit down, and dine in with Bono's. You can also take it to go. There are drive-thrus in many of the locations, and they have delivery options too. Just download the Bono's app to make things easy. I signed up for the loyalty program, and you can too, to get special offers. If Jacksonville is home, few things feel more Jacksonville than Bono's Pit Barbecue. Celebrate 75 years and many more to come. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Hi, I'm Greg Mackey from Cycles of Jacksonville. Whether you're looking for a side-by-side, ATV, motorcycle, or scooter, Honda has what you need.
The Honda Talon. Ultimate performance meets family-friendly fun. Prices starting at $363 a month. Or the sporty Honda CBR 650 starting at an affordable $204 a month.
Stop by and choose your adventure from a full line of Honda products. Only at Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard. Family owned and operated since 1983.
Hello, I'm Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Since 2003, our firm has fought exclusively for the rights of men in family law. Divorce, modification of child support, alimony, custody, and more, all for men. A father is vitally important to a child's life, and being a man is not a reason to pay more in child support or alimony. I'm a single father. I get it. If you have a divorce or other family law issue, contact Kenny Lay & Associates at Divorce Men